Hey everyone. Good morning. Happy Monday. Hope you all had a fantastic weekend. I know there was a lot of storms. I hope everybody is okay. Survived the storms, didn't, have storm damage or anything like that. It's good to see all of you. Hey Rondi, Catherine, Ava, Saint, Mystic Butterfly, Go Bulldogs, Josie Joe, Angel Sleuth, is me, Amberly, Michelle, One Shot, JP, Heather, Sasha, good morning, Manic, Lenny, good morning. Um, yeah. Hey Lucy, Thoughts for the South. Yes, flooding and Hurricane Debbie. Hey Marie, Danny P, Poetic Justice, Maximum Effort, Billy Sunday. Hey Pretty in Pink, Sweet, Harami, good morning, Betty. Goody Two Shoes, Diana R, Colleen C, Mama 3, XS Country, Naysayer, Petty AF. That's how I'm feeling, so I'm trying to reel it in. You are flooded. Oh, Jay, I'm so sorry. We are flooding and still storming. Oh, Talisa, good morning. World Peas, Crimson Moon, JD, good to see you. Do our Diddy, Thor, Miss Rayburn, Skeptical Robin. I'm down at my coastal Carolina home, but gotta head back to butter. Hanging out while getting ready for work, waving from Oklahoma. Yeah. I keep the seasons are changing, right? We are entering fall, back to school, and it's it's tough. It's a tough time. Hey Larry, Heather Dawn, tattoos, Patrish, just Samantha. It was raining pretty heavy here. Actually went with my family to go see Trap, the movie Trap. Hey Caroline, Grandma Sherry, Lucy Wren. And it was pretty good. I always try to support him because he's a Philadelphia guy. He films in Philly, so it was cool to see the stadium I go to and all that. But it was I give it like 3.5 out of 5. It was okay. It was good. Hey Nosy Bish, Toe Beans. Is hotter than Hey Sarah Wood. I want the hot to come back. I need to get in as much sun and summer vibes as I can before I sink back into seasonal depression. So, Forever Army. I'm not done with summer either, Billy. Hey, Just Debbie. School went back last Thursday here, so it's still summertime. I protest. Proud Mimi, good morning. Are you flooded as well? Mrs. Mud Duck, good morning. Hey, Shell, new account, who this? So I fell asleep last night. I was not awake for what had everybody upset, but I did wake up at some point and caught a live stream that was about a video that went out. And I have some of my own thoughts about it. It was very interesting, to say the least. Hey, Dusty, Garbage Girl, Miss Liverbird. I I didn't watch all I wasn't gonna watch any of it if I'm being honest, because I normally don't. And then I was like, you know what, let me just watch because it has a lot of people upset, so something must have been said or done. So we're gonna watch it together. So not ready for a season of change. I get depressed also. Oh, poetic. I can't stand it. I didn't watch video, but boy, have I heard about it. Yeah. Hey, Captain Ganja, Melinda. Well, I intentionally don't call people out for the way they cover things, right? I have before. Of course there's bias, Lenny. There's always bias. You know what I mean? Even people that claim to not be biased are biased. Yeah, absolutely. Um, I also don't claim to be true crime, Kelly J. I'm a mixture of everything. I'm like a trashy tabloid, if you will. You know what I mean? Like I've never claimed to be some type of news reporter. I'm not, I have no professionalism about me. Actually, we're lucky if I can even pronounce that word correctly, right? So I don't want to be held to standards that I set my standards for me, right? But I understand the sentiments behind what was being said and all that good stuff. Uh, what was I going to say prior to that, though? Um, I'm gonna check on sister-in-law. Okay, I forget what I was gonna say. Good morning, Wani. Right, right. That's like, you know what I mean? We'll discuss whatever. Jason knows this. We've always done this. And um, I didn't get that far into it, so I don't know. I'll be honest, I don't know, but we are gonna explore together and that's what I was gonna say. So I intentionally don't call out the way people are covering things. Of course, I'm calling out Betty, and the fact that she does this thing where she puts Sebastian in all her videos and then does speak on them. But I'm not going around like acting like I'm moral superiority. I'm not going to call out the way people decide to cover things. I'm not pointing out everybody's misstep and everybody's misflaw and all that because I'm not better than anybody. Um, yeah, so I don't know. I appreciate being included, I guess, to an extent. But at the same time, I don't consider myself part of that community. Matter of fact, I don't consider myself part of any community. I'm in the same sector, you know what I mean? But as far as like friendships or being like intertwined, I'll be honest, there was a point where I did feel that I was included with a lot of these people until I chatted in the chat. And then I felt like I was exiled. That's exactly how I feel. Could it be wrong? Absolutely. Could it be right? Sure can. It's just my feelings. There was a point in time where I did feel like, I had a pretty cool, coexistence and somewhat friendly vibes going on. And I'll never forget one person in particular literally said, and some of you are now kissing the ass of somebody who was just going at you a week ago. And I was like, yep, vibes changed, and I know it, right? So I don't know. I felt hard in my opinion, like legit creators that are TP and others that aren't peppered in. Let's go over it and let's see. Yeah, I thought it would be like open to a panel where people come up and talk, right? Hey Vanessa, it's been a while. Choco, hello. She attacked Yolo and Jay and said you deserved each other. She attacked. Wait, really? Who? In this video, Miss Liverbird? Oh no, Jay, I'm not. Hey Lila. Oh, I didn't know. I didn't get that far. Well, that's interesting. So she attacked me and Jay and said we deserve each other. Yeah, she did say that. Oh, well, that changes my whole vibes of things. Wait, TPE did? Thank you, Kim. Or you're talking about Betty? Thank you, Red. I really appreciate that. I need clarification. I don't even know myself, Jay. Yes, they did. Oh, okay. Well, that's interesting. Wow. Okay. Well, that does change. Oh, that does change my opinion very much so then. Oh. Oh. Ew. Yeah, see, that's the thing. I don't even like do we wanna advertise them, right, Jay? Do I wanna advertise them? Yeah, she said you and Jay deserve one another. Interesting. Okay. Well, that changes a lot of things. Because I just watched one little snippet and I thought it was my snippet, and I didn't know it went further than that. Oh, that's interesting. I barely ever heard TPE. This video really caused some hurt, though. Yeah, it did for several reasons. I don't want to advertise them either, Miss Liverbird. I mean, with utmost respect. The fact that everyone is asking is why she made the video, right, Crimson? So I'm kind of feeling like, do we do it? You know what I mean? Like, darn. Um, no, I wouldn't say I am. I know that I didn't stand up to other people's standards, but again, I'm here to meet my own standards, right? So there's a few things I'm going to point out that some of you will agree with, some of you won't, and quite frankly, take it how you will. Welcome. Thank you so much for becoming a member. Huh. So let me play a particular part. So that's interesting because I thought I just listened to what was shown of me, right? Like I thought, oh, okay. Um, give me a second. Well, there was quite a so let's talk about it, right? Because there were quite a few people left out, and you can tell who was left out based on who they mod for, who they're friends with, who they're in the clique with. I mean, there is a clique, and anybody who claims there isn't, you're just being willfully ignorant at that point. There's obviously a clique. Um, hmm. Let me choose how I'm going to do this. Okay. Like I like I said, I know when it was said to me. Um, Yeah, calling people tragedy pimps because it tags comment bad behavior. Seth is super reach, but the standard these tragedy pimp Jones is one, Savage is one, everyone is one. Yeah. All right, here, let me do it this way. I'm gonna make it really, really small, but not near my cat. All right, there we go. Found years later, JC Duggar, Carolina White, Alex Batty, Gregory Jean, Sun Wei, Kayla, yeah, Elizabeth Smart. Absolutely, there's still a chance, there's still hope. Absolutely. Um, I don't believe Savage was mentioned in that video. I don't believe so. And she's a mod for Savage, so, you know. Uh yeah. Yeah, see, Savage was calling out Seth's bad behavior. Savage did restream Seth's live stream, and she was also a part of that. So I don't know why. Well, I do know why. Listen, I'm not saying I even disagree with the criticism because to be honest, I understand where they were coming from. I understand where she was coming from. So my sentiment with tagging is how am I to reach the audience that I needed to reach if there isn't a tag taking place, right? Like if I
Tagging of
have
missing children in drama.
if I have what I feel is important information pertaining to a case, I'm going to tag that case, right? And I know people can look at it like, but you're tagging a child in drama. I think it's all in how you. Thank you so much, Snazzy. It's so sweet of you to honor all these names. You can do it without the super sticker, and I'll be sure to highlight it. Um, everybody has their different standards on how they want to do things, and that's fine. Which is why I don't call out how others do things because I'm not one of those people that think I can do the same exact thing but can pretty it up as if I am doing it better or onto a better standard. And think that I'm different from what I'm calling out. I'm not that delirious. I'm not that. She's TM's attack dog? Ah, interesting. I don't know. I thought I was friendly with her, to be honest. I didn't realize she felt how she felt. Okay. Well, didn't I say this many times, Artist Creek, who was not a tragedy pimp? The line's so fine that, you know, aren't you all as guilty? I noticed somebody pointed out in the comment section over here that they got like X amount of ads within so much amount of time. So you're profiting off this too, like, right? So if it always comes down to like hashtags and financial gain, well, to be honest, we're all gaining in some type of way. I don't know. All right, let's play and see.
Drama streams, and I most certainly don't get behind the bashing of the father of a missing child,
Right.
even if he's acting a fool. And that brings me to Granny. Granny, this thumbnail was definitely in poor taste.
This thumbnail was very much in poor taste, and I've already acknowledged this. I'm not going to change it because it was already called out, right? Like right here, it was already called out. I'm a little shocked to see that she took this screenshot 4 hours after I did the stream. Never once like commented to me, said something to me, never approached me with your disappointment, nothing. But I do know there was a couple weeks ago, I made a community post myself acknowledging myself that I went a little too far. But I see that wasn't brought up in this video, right? So
I think you definitely got off track and you lost a lot of us. You went
that part, and you lost a lot of us, right? That's the part. I seem to have found a lot of you when you wanted to use my panel and put a huge big X on my back, right? If you guys found your way again. So I like that I lost. So what is there like some secret little cupboard where you guys all meet and you're like, yeah, we're gone. Like we're leaving. We're you know what I mean? And quite frankly, if my choice in the thumbnail is your reasoning for being lost, for no longer supporting me, then utmost respect, you never probably were supporting me to begin with, right? So there's that. Hey, back to blue. Thank you so much, pretty is. Don't let anyone change who you are now. I'm not. I'm not. I listen. I acknowledge that thumbnail. While I find it, I'm not gonna lie. I think Seth is uh, a very horrible person. I do. I do think Seth is a horrible person. Um, was it in poor taste? Yeah. Yeah, I think so. I think it went a little too far. The father's fund and supporting BHB harassment of his ex-wife, right? This is how I was feeling, helping to dox content creators to Tony Mathis. I'm just supposed to ignore that, right? Because he has a missing child. How many times have I said you can have a missing child and still be a piece of shit? And I think he is a piece of shit. I think he is. Right, Jameson. I think it's the way it was phrased, like, and you lost us. Like the way it was phrased was like, oh, okay. Like, you know what I mean? It was the tone of which it was said.
definitely got off track and you lost a lot of us.
Like, who is us? Can we clarify who us is? Can I get a list? Can I get a clarification of who all of us would be? I don't know.
You went too far. You were bashing Seth.
Sure
and
was.
you were tagging Sebastian on a daily basis.
It wasn't
And
a
you're not
daily.
the only.
Let's check that. Let's check my tags. I don't think it was a daily basis, but I was tagging them because, like I said, I felt like some of it. How are you supposed to reach the people you want to reach if there's this standard of don't use this tag, right? So let's see if we were tagging on a daily basis. I don't think it was daily because I was very cautious because I knew there are people that will call me out or will be unhappy with me or you know what I mean? Like I knew there people were looking for certain standards. So let's see. Oh, how do uh, I'm just gonna respectfully disagree. I was not tagging him every day. Because I know I wasn't. Uh, Seth Rogers, yes. Maybe she meant no, she said Sebastian. I just was not tagging Sebastian every day. But maybe she felt I was, right? Maybe on the day she tuned in, she felt like I was. Again, I'm gonna respectfully disagree. I don't feel like I was. And the only time I felt like I was is again when it was I wanted to be sure that certain people would see it. So whatever. So she feels that way, right? She feels I tagged every day, and I get it. Maybe I did, and I didn't realize. I don't think I did though, and yeah, I do know the other day I did tag Sebastian and then I removed it because the stream didn't go the way I wanted it to go. Sometimes when you see there are people who don't do this, right? They don't come up here, they don't speak every day, they don't have open panels, they don't live stream, if you will. So it's easier for them to judge when really some things just get out of control, right? Like sometimes what a stream that's meant to go this way will go that way. You know what I mean? So and all I can do is what I've done is if that happens, I change the title, I fix the tags, I move it around, but I'm not going to stop. Yeah, well, it's not fact. I'll just say it's not fact. I mean, you guys can go look for yourselves. I'll say it's not fact. Have I tagged him? Yes. When I felt like it was important enough that I wanted to reach a certain audience, I had. Like when Tony Mathis was bringing in Nina and all of that, I felt like that was important, so I did tag there. Okay. But you guys can go check for yourselves and be, I don't know, go police my content if you want. This is why I don't police other people's content because I don't think it's fair. one on their own page. Why does one person or a few people? Yeah, but how is it any better? Like, I'm gonna get to this in just seconds. I've been saying there's such a thin line. Who's to say you're walking on the right side of it or your toe didn't go over it? Because I guarantee all of us have at one point or another. One more thing, QB is an open panel. Anyone welcome to jump up. If you have such strong feelings about the person on panel, hit the link. Stop sitting in the benches doing armchair quarterbacking. That's fair enough, B Tim. It's fair enough. I feel like hashtag just her personal opinion. Right. I agree. Again, how are you supposed to reach a certain audience if you don't do the hashtags? But I get it.
You were tagging Sebastian on a daily basis.
But I wasn't.
And you're not the only one. Don't get me wrong. You're not the only one. I just need to make it perfectly clear to my channel members and my supporters, my subscribers, that I just do not support that. And that's why you.
So is that who I lost? Your channel members, your supporters? Like, did you guys have a underground group meeting where you're like, we don't support Granny because of this thumbnail she did, and I feel she's tagging every day? I'm honest question. I'm just honestly unsure.
My subscribers, that I just do not support that. And that's why you haven't seen me around.
That's fair enough.
That's why I've been missing from a lot of chats. I'm not even sure that I can get down with the going over the interviews of the parents hundreds and hundreds of times.
See, now this is where I'm a little confused, right? Because I will not advertise William Eyelash. This is where I become a little confused because what she's going to say now isn't about me, but it is. But she keeps my thumbnail up there. This is from the other day, as you all know. And I tagged Bullhorn Betty, stop using Seth Rogers and his trauma to get back at JLR. It's despicable. Your jealousy of Jay, just as comical. So I guess I can't hashtag Seth Rogers either. Now, Seth Rogers, I've had personal things happen with, and I feel personal. Listen, I've always said I can be empathetic towards the fact that his son has disappeared, and I can also think he's handled it in a very shitty, disgusting, despicable way. I think the man is abusive. I think he's extremely abusive. He actually gives me some sort of PTSD, if I'm being honest. That's just how I feel about him. So I don't have respect for him, and I don't feel like I have to have respect for him just because his child's missing, which leads me to my next thing. It's like when somebody passes away, right? If somebody passes away and all of a sudden everybody's like, oh my gosh, they were so great. They were so wonderful. And maybe they weren't. We have to pretend then? Like, just because somebody experiences something traumatic doesn't mean we have to neglect all the horrible things or pretend that we suddenly feel some type of way. I think Seth Rogers is a creep. Sorry, if you dislike that, I understand. Unsubscribe. I respect that. It's fine with me. You'll grow without hashtags. The hashtags don't do shit. However, tagging victims to be seen as harassment against those people. Yeah, okay, Placidus. I'll check it out. I'll look into it. How many people even look at hashtags is how I feel. Now, all right, let me continue on before I get to my next thing. She's not wrong. I'm going to say this, though. I don't think she's wrong. Like, I understand what she's saying. For her, that's a boundary cross. She doesn't like it. She doesn't agree with it. I get it. I understand it. But I also feel like to say, like, I want to make it clear to my members and my channel supporters, this is how I feel. Like, you're calling for them to all feel the way you feel. Like, everybody go and subscribe Grady right now because I feel this way. And Stinson, I'm really glad you're in here because, to be honest, I threw you in this category and I'm kind of upset about a lot of things. Like, honestly, I'm a little upset about a lot of things. So I'm glad that you commented because I do. I put you all together in a category. I feel some type of way about a lot of things that have been happening. I've heard the little jabs going on. I see the people that are suddenly in these chats and the comments that they're making. I see the people that are over in these chats. It's kind of ironic. You guys don't like, not you, Stinson, not you guys, but some of you don't like fathers or victims of crimes being tagged, but you got no problem with doxing. You got no problem with my kids being tagged. You got no problems with exploiting my personal life. But oh no, watch out. I'm a victim along the line too, right? Maybe not of what you think. So parents of missed kids should be offered more grace. Everything to do is under a microscope. Sick creators constantly bash the parents. Drama should never tag child's name. Snacky trick is you're not wrong. You're not wrong. But I feel like there are some things that need to be highlighted that I do feel need to be attached to that name. Right? Yeah, don't start going at the jerks because they don't tag. And Soup just said she doesn't even feel the same way. So I'm just saying, I notice who's been where and who they're associated with. I know when the vibes change. I'm a very, what would you call it? Perceptive person. I can feel the things, right? Which part, Remy? Hey, Winnie. Hello. Is that a blanket statement or are there specific names with that? Which I'm sorry, I went on a rant, so I don't know which part. I think it's narcissistic. Think someone has such high, but a lot of people do though. New account, like it's not TPE. It's not the only. They have these standards that they have set forth, and they've always done this. And to be honest, a lot of us were on board with it, so it's not anything new. But again, I'm not calling out people for the way they are covering and doing things. Right? I'm not doing that for a reason because I'm not perfect. Content off BHB who working for Seth at that Miss Child, aren't they also inadvertently attacking Seth? I would think, but I don't know. It depends on how you personally feel about somebody. I think to act like there's not bias or personal feelings tied to it is a fallacy. Thank you so much, T. Adams. I do get a lot of scrutiny. I don't know which statement. I'm sorry if we could clarify. I'm not cracking. I'm not, and I won't pretend that I am. Which statement? I'm sorry. I don't know. I don't even remember what I said, if I'm being honest. So you can change. You can tell Lenny. You can. All right. Let's continue on.
If you're sitting
No,
there picking
no, 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 not you guys. No, I'm sorry. Did I phrase it that way? I am so sorry. Okay. No, I apologize. It is particular people, very much so. Chronicles of the Shady. Get your clip ready, bitch. She's one of them. And I'm tired of being gaslit that it's not happening. You know, so people were saying, show proof she was in there when this was said about your child. I show the proof. And they're like, oh, well, you know, what does that mean? We don't see it. Da, da, da. And I know who she's tied to. And I know when the vibes change. I'm not, you know, and it's just, it is what it is, right? But you're angry at me for hashtagging or thinking that I'm not living up to your standards, but you sent some of the nastiest chats. Get the fuck out of here.
those interviews apart, how is it any better than someone else who's doing it? You know, the bigger tragedy pimps. I don't know. I see that it can be a bit better because you're clearing up misinformation. But if you're making money on a daily basis on a missing child over and over again, I struggle with that.
So, and this is what I wrote last night in Nonsense's stream. I said, I think that it's the consistency that's a problem. And I knew that was what the problem was. It's the consistency, right? It's the day after day after day after day. But here's the thing. With utmost respect, I get passionate, right? And if I get passionate and I get deep into something, I'm going to discuss it for as long as I feel I want to. It's just I'm like that with everything. Like it, I get passionate about something and I see it through. That's what I do. I did recognize at one point that I was beating a dead bush, right? I was overdoing it. And I made the post and acknowledged it myself. There was nothing left to really talk about. It was becoming rabbit holes that quite frankly I tried to avoid. I got caught up. I was the first to admit it. But why not throw that in there, TPE? Why not throw that in there? You know, yeah, Granny made this thumbnail 3 months ago and Granny did this the other day, but Granny did do this and stop talking about Sebastian because she recognized what she was doing. But I'll be honest, I'm just going to do what I'm going to do from here on out, right? Like you're not going to make everybody happy and I'm not here to make everybody happy. Right. I felt like it was going in a lot of circles. That's what I'm saying, Joneson. Like it is what it is. Like you sit in real life chatters. Like, and first off, the stuff these people say about me are. Let me get this right. These people can sit over there day in and day out, going after me on a personal fucking level. Okay, doxing me, doing all the most things, and comparing me to Casey Anthony. But you're angry that I got upset one day and I compared them to Jennifer Soto. Which what I still feel is a very fair comparison, if I'm being honest. I mean, You know, I didn't sit there and say, like, this is going to happen to your kids because you're X, Y, and Z. But I did say, do you have a right to call me a pedo sympathizer? Do you have a right to put that on my name? You don't think that endangers me when you're telling people I'm a pedo sympathizer and then you're putting out my full freaking name and you're putting out where you think I live and you're putting out relatives and all these things and you're putting a pedo label on me? You don't think that's a fucking problem? And you're mad at me that I lost my crap one day and I said, what makes you any better than these people? You're watering down the word pedo. You're watering down abuse that actual kids have survived and went through. And I still haven't seen you call that out. I still haven't seen you call out that these people call me Casey Anthony every single fucking day. But you're so big angry, aren't you? You're big angry that Granny compared her to what? Somebody who wasn't even convicted of a crime? Oh, shit, watch out. Compare me to somebody who literally the whole entire world thinks unalived her child. Right? Okay.
So
Double
I'm just
standards
being
and
honest
hypocrisy
here,
for me.
and yeah, I don't want to be a hypocrite, so calling it out. Doesn't mean I don't like these people. Doesn't mean you won't ever see me again in their chats. As I said, Queen and I were close behind the scenes, and you'll probably still see me there. Just not when things like this are going on. That's all. And again, we spoke about it behind the scenes privately. So that's probably all I'm going to say about it.
So Queen got a personal conversation behind the scenes. I guess the rest of us weren't really quite entitled to that, which is fine because we're not owed anything. But I have had private communications with her, so I felt like you could have, reached out to me and shared your feelings, and we could have actually had a conversation. I feel like when this was titled like a conversation by Deborah, I feel like when this was titled a conversation, it meant like a conversation from her to her subscribers, not to those of us that she tagged. No, it's not nearly the same. Not nearly. When I start putting out Betty's personal information, when I'm going over her medical, when I'm going over 3 years of her private conversations, when I'm talking about her vagina, her looks, her kids, her family, when I'm doxing, doing all those things, then compare it. Placitas, then compare it.
I can't get behind the tagging
It does.
of missing children and or their
Oh,
parents.
thank you, Deborah.
When it's mixed in with your drama streams. Unless you're spreading facts and facts only and not covering drama, their names do not need to be tagged in your descriptions.
I'm Krama. Krama is drama mixed with true crime with utmost respect. So I get it. Sebastian shouldn't be tagged in that, but I will say I think Seth Rogers has participated in his own good bit of drama. So he's not above it. He's not above it, right? Like it's not like he's not participating in it, swimming in it. I can too, Stinson. I can too. Honestly, I get it. I get it. This is her personal feelings. Who am I to say they're wrong? But I do think Seth Rogers is knee deep into drama himself. So yeah, I tag him.
And those are just my thoughts and opinions on that. And everyone might be different, and that's fine.
But I don't know why my screenshot was up there.
Let's shake it off and let's move on. On to Spanky. More tagging of missing children.
Well, it's not an excuse, Sammy, but it is a reason, right? It is a reason. It's not an excuse. I have some of the most consistent daily freaks, I'm going to say, because I don't know what else to call them, for a very long time now, every single day, every single day, every single day. And you'll get a lot of out of context, you'll get whatever, but you get it's a lot of personal, right? It's like a lot of, whatever. So I don't know how these people would respond. And I guess one of my problems is I let it accumulate, right? Like I'll ignore it for 2 months. And because I'm ignoring them, they usually go harder. They go deeper. They try to get a response. I have clips where some of them even say, Granny's going to go live, triggered. I'm shocked Granny didn't go live triggered. Oh, Granny's going to be snapping about this for a week. So they're trying to trigger me. So am I wrong when I get triggered? I mean, they're looking to trigger me and sometimes they're successful. Sometimes I go too far. You know how far I haven't gone? I haven't doxed them. I'm not talking about their personal lives. I'm not putting up where I think they live. I'm not looking into their criminal records. I'm not damn sure ain't digging out anybody's medical. I'm not seeking out 3 years of their personal conversations put out of context. I'm not watching their every single fucking move. I don't watch them at all. So I think there's a difference, right? Speaking for myself, and a lot of these people, they don't go live daily. So you're not going to trip up on your words. You're not going to make mistakes. You get, you're kind of fortunate. Nobody knows who you really are. You got your anonymity. It's something that I unfortunately was unable to keep, so you don't experience the same things. None of us do. None of us have the same life experiences in general. So none of us are going to respond to one singular thing the same way. There isn't a single creator I agree with 100%. Heck, the jerks don't agree 100% on everything. There has to be some nuance in supporting people. Personally, I never read tags. I don't think anybody reads tags, if I'm being honest. Nina, thank you so much. Isn't Seth Raj technically a creator now? He is. There are valid points, but where do we draw the line if a family member actively engages? And he's actively engaging in drama, not just social media. It doesn't, casual art. It doesn't. And I wish it would. I wish it would. Thank you so much, Nina. Oh, you sent it twice, Nina, if you want to cancel one. No, but you know what? I should know, Nisi. I've practiced and I've learned to not come live when I'm in those moods. And that one day I got a message as I was live and it ripped me up. And I went on a whole tangent that I likely shouldn't have. But maybe if I can fade it differently, because I still stand with the underlying message. When you were out here calling people that you once dated, now pedos, because you're no longer dating them, it's reckless. It is reckless. It waters it down. 30 months, new account. I'd be lost without you guys, I'll tell you that. Definitely would be lost. Creators and public interviews. No, they haven't, JR. Not all of the parents. And dogs his creators and is a mod and supporter of BHB harassing his ex-wife and talking nasty while his channel is tagged with a guy named Taco. Yes, true. Hey, Peanut Shell. Thank you for subscribing. Welcome. I did cricket. What does that mean? Because I feel like that's very insulting. All right, let's go. Let's rewind it back a little bit. Oh,
even if you're correcting misinformation, is it? And coming up next is actually Queen Bee.
I never called you
and
back.
I just really wanted to talk about this. Who agrees
Good morning,
that
neighbor.
Tagging missing children
I am.
in drama
Casual,
streams
I am. Some of it
is wrong,
though.
even if you're correcting misinformation? Is it right, though, to then tag
she has
the missing
I see
child
you, truth seeker,
and their parents and a bunch of other stuff?
I do too. I'm being honest. I do too at this point. I'm tired of saying I'm sorry. When is somebody going to apologize to me? You know what I mean? Like, that's just stand every word I've said about any parent that exploits their child. I'll stand for a child every day. I've been on YouTube for years. Only watch Duchess Nonsense, Granny, Queen Bee, and I like Clue also, but I get excitement. Come on, Granny. Thank you, Crimson Tide. I really appreciate that. Hey, Hershey. No one cares about her calling out Siggy every day. I think she was trying to say the tagging of victims' family in the drama streams isn't right. No, that is what she was trying to say. And I'm arguing as some of them, I do think it is right. I think it is important for people who may not have seen Seth sitting on a panel where he's pretending to masturbate. Okay. I think it is important that they see it, that they get a chance to see it. Favorite creators when the hashtag issue started. I understand why it's done, and I agree with it. I didn't understand until explained. Well, how do you reach the audience if you don't tag the hashtag? I mean,
I personally don't agree with it. And I have spoken to Queen behind the scenes about that. We don't have to agree with everything that someone does.
That's true. You don't have to.
Yeah, I was close with Queen, and when I'm close with someone, I talk to them behind the scenes about it. So I won't go too much further, but I also am not a hypocrite, and I'm going to be showing screenshots. All there is to it.
Unless it's used as manipulation, being sorry is a sign of one thing, conscious. It's the opposite of weak. I agree. Yes, he did. See? Some people still don't know it. Yes, he sure did. He sure as hell did, and it was despicable. And ECB, thank you for your kind comments last night. I'll get into explaining that, too.
I don't love the tag cash cow or putting that in a title with Sebastian's name.
Kind of agree with that.
I just highly, highly disagree with it. And then I was kind of wondering why this stream is behind a paywall.
Well, because again, when we have open panels, sometimes we expect our streams to go the way it's titled, but it sometimes gets off course a little bit, right? Something comes up, somebody comes up, and there's a discussion held that isn't based around the original topic. So we do what we can do best. We either put it private, we change the title, put it behind a paywall. I don't know, you know. Did the same, liked each other, everyone would have millions of subs and be boring. I agree with that. Don't misunderstand nonsense when I comment on you. To see, absolutely beats him. The thing that I played it again the other day. Artist Creek. I was live and I was talking about Madeline Soto, and there are these people that were going on about their 12th hour of live streaming about me. People that dox me, that call me Casey Anthony, that have made comments that I'm in danger to my children, and that call me a pedo sympathizer. So I pointed out they're the ones that dated this man they are now labeling an alleged pedo. Okay. And I went on to say how what you are doing is you are watering down what actual victims go through. And while you're spending 12 hours on the internet obsessing over me and going over me, who's to say what would happen? That's it. That's all. I played it the other day. You guys can go watch it. Hey, B Tim.
What's up? All right, so the whole thing with the press conference with Adria Cunningham, that was originally just supposed to talk about the story, but someone jumped on the panel and said some crazy things on the panel, and it was private. And due to Queen being in a lawsuit, she cannot delete things, so she puts things behind a membership.
There you go.
Okay, so that's the explanation. It was not put behind a motherfucking paywall because people were just so interested in the case and she just wanted to make money. It was because people jumped in the middle of the fucking thing. It was disrespectful and she didn't want to have that shit on open. Okay, and she cannot delete shit because she's in an open lawsuit right now. She is not allowed to delete videos. Now, I mean, I don't know, and I don't know what you expect of the situation, but that's the explanation for that. And I'm tired of people constantly not like. There was people in a chat. The woman, you can probably go towards the fucking end and listen to like the lady. I think it was I forgot the lady's name. I have to rewatch it, but I'm pretty sure it was due to that situation where someone just jumps up. It was open and starts talking about some random other shit that was not appropriate for a discussion about that situation. Okay, that's the whole exit. Another thing is that the whole tagging thing. Listen, I don't think a lot of credit is given to channels that actually fucking how many times I've heard in channels whereby people say, "Oh, I never knew about T-Rev until I went on your channel. I never heard about Dolly until I heard about your channel. I didn't know how bad BHB was." How do you think they get recommended to go to your channel?
Right,
it's usually the tags.
Like somebody just said in the chat, I didn't know that Seth sat on a panel pretended to masturbate. Yeah. Well, we're not allowed to tag them, so you wouldn't know, right? Like, no, there are some reasons that tag is worthy.
The problem is people don't realize how YouTube works. YouTube is a pipeline, okay? You got a pipeline of people that will go on panels, like they'll call channels like this, and they listen, and then they follow up, and they say, "Oh, I didn't know about this," and then they type into it like a clip channel to see the actual clip. Or maybe the channel will recommend a clip channel to actually read. That is the whole point of it. It's a pipeline to educate people about the bad actors. I'm sorry, we're not like 100%, but the fact is, I don't know how you can talk about the Sebastian Rogers case without talking about motherfucking drama. I'm sorry.
Right. That's all that's involved in it due to the parents, not us.
There's fake dog searchers. There's fake PIs. There's fake fucking lawyers. There's a guy who showed his penis on a TikTok video. There's doxing. There's BHB. The father started a YouTube channel to have memberships. What the fuck is this case not about drama? Tell me, if we just removed all the drama, it would be nothing. We'd stop talking about it. It wouldn't be news. And that's the problem with people like this. Another thing I want to state, everyone keeps on saying, "Oh my God, they have this so-and-so person on this panel." Well, motherfucker, it's called an open fucking panel. It's a link, okay? Instead of sitting in the fucking chat, if you have such a strong feeling about that motherfucker, why don't you hit that motherfucking link and present and go in front of that person and present yourself and confront that person? That's what I did. That's exactly what I did. I remember when Laura was talking about Tyler Feller and how great he was and how fantastic he was. And I jumped on that panel and I exposed him for having his channel as a fucking charity while talking about true crime 5 days of the week and 1 day for church. And while he was basically fucking bullshit preacher while talking true crime and trying to collect all the money and had his channel on a 501c3. Okay. That's what I did. I confronted him. I confronted Laura about it because I had strong feelings about it. You could do the same. But this whole thing about you're guilty for association because you have so-and-so on the panel. You're guilty for so-and-so. It's just so ridiculous. If you have strong feelings, hit the link. I mean, I don't get it. And it's just, I'm actually very annoyed with the whole Cunningham thing, because if you were actually in that live and you actually saw it towards the end, you'd be like, you would see how uncomfortable I was. And I was like, man, we need to go, I don't like, it's kind of disrespectful to the child, because we were just because it was supposed to be a quick live to cover the press conference. That was it.
Right.
It wasn't supposed to go on the other way around. I mean, you can just listen to it. And unprivating it would be like, that's what I'm trying to say. And I just don't get like this whole fucking purity fucking spiral here, because if we just suddenly did what you did, and people would not be educating themselves on these bad content creators. You wouldn't have a pipeline where eventually people will learn about how these people are fucking bad. A drama is not news if there are news. Then how would you cover the Sebastian Rogers case? How would you cover basically the information that is talked about the fake dog searcher, about the fake, about Delta, who was basically on a panel with Tony Mathis, who's supposed to be the actual the press guy, who's that, and also Tony Mathis, who's doxing people and with Seth's permission. You don't think
not only that, but are we news reporters? Like, I don't present it as if I'm reporting news, right? Like I've always said, consider me a trashy tabloid. Like I'm just going to talk about everything. And unfortunately, like beats him saying, there's a lot of drama that is tied in to Sebastian's disappearance. So I don't get it.
Yeah, I wish we didn't have the drama. You know how much I wish that Tony, Seth, did not come out and just be like this complete crazy person who allied himself with Tony Mathis and BHP. Do you know how much I would love for him to not have screwed up his case and work with legitimate channels like Gray Hughes or Web Sleuths or any of those channels or Grizzly True Crime and stuff like that. And we kept this very clean. And that's, what, I'd be so fucking happy. I would be ecstatic, actually. But unfortunately, this guy has decided to ally himself with the worst of the worst trash bag human beings to profit, in my opinion, to profit from his son's disappearance. I'm sorry. 3 days after his son goes missing, he decides to have a GoFundMe. He decides to have cash links. The money is not being properly put in any sort of way. He talks about a lawyer that you got to write a check to, that the money's going to be held for it. It's just fucked up, and everything is fucked up about this case. And believe me, I would love for Seth to change his ways and be cool about it and not do this stuff. I would love it, because I don't like it talking negatively about parent of a missing kid. But if I don't talk about it, guess what? More people are going to be bamboozled to toss money to this guy, and more people are going to be bamboozled to be tricked by Tony Mathis and BHP and support the harassment of a mother of a missing child.
My thing is, he's an abuser. He's an abusive man. He has used Sebastian's disappearance to seek revenge on Katie. And I will always highlight that. I don't, and I get it that they feel differently, and that's fine. They can feel that way. Just as we can feel how we feel, right? Like different strokes for different folks type of thing. I guess for me, it was the picking and choosing, because with utmost respect, a lot of people that didn't make that list have also called out Seth, have also participated in, bringing awareness to his bad behaviors but they weren't on there.
Thanks. You're next. Says, if Chris and Katie, I just want to answer this because I'm not going to yell at this person. I'm just going to be collective. I'm not going to do a Laura. I'm not going to do a Laura. If Chris and Katie turned around and supported Betty, Tim would start targeting them. Queen Bee Group have a serious hate for Betty that was gone beyond criticism. They attack anyone who's been. Now, the difference is what say basically they allied themselves with Betty, and they were like, okay, Betty's going to help search. If Betty was not harassing anyone and wasn't targeting people, then like on the other side, like let's say she allied herself with BHB and she was targeting Seth, I would be critical of Katie. I'd be like, what the fuck are you doing? But if she just allied herself with BHB and she's just putting up posters and stuff like that, I would not speak anything about Katie, to be honest with you. Just like the mother of Soto's case. How many times have we talked about her?
I talked about her a lot because I feel like she's guilty.
But like I'm just saying, like Queen Bee, how many times has she talked about her? Not a lot. Probably maybe one or two, maybe max. And it wasn't a lot.
Right.
I mean, that's a situation. Someone else is on the panel. I'm sorry to be rude to that person.
No,
Hey,
you're
Courtney.
fine. Hi, good morning. I was just waiting. I'm kind of a patient person. I'll wait till someone quits speaking. Um, Coming from like say just a subscriber point of view, I personally don't look at the tags. I look at the person. I look at who they are as a person. I look at their morals. I look at their ethics before I participate. And that's just me. Some subscribers aren't. But I just want to know who they think they are to be the police of whose tags are put where. What?
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
agree.
what?
But
Like,
unfortunately, Brittany,
really?
the thing is, though, this happened a while ago, right? I mean, because there was a
Yes.
time where everybody, including us, B Tim, Cheesy, you're up here, you're behind this thing. Let me move it for you. There was a time where we would call out that type of things, right? And
Mhm.
maybe we've rolled into it unrealizing, but I've always said there's such a thin line that really, even those who think that they're on the moral side of it, you're really not. Nobody's no different here, is my
Right.
opinion. We
Yeah.
all get passionate. We all feel some type of way. I know Sebastian's case as well as Madeline Soto's case really gripped at me like deeply. It was, so I spoke about it. But I don't know. I think for so long we've allowed people to call out people for how they're doing things, and then somehow they're not called out. I don't know. I understand what TPE is saying. I just think there were people that were missed on the list for sure.
Yeah, there was a couple of people missed on the list. There's a lot, but I find it I find it very offensive to be compared to Dolly Vision and those creep bags. It's just ridiculous. And
I'm going to sip it.
Yeah.
There were quite a few people who were left off the list. And to the person in the chat who said that B Tim and Queen B are doing the same targeted attacks against Seth that everybody's doing against Chris and Katie, these are not targeted attacks. Us on Queen B's panel, and I'll say me also because I've been up there just almost as much as B Tim. So I'll take the blame also. The things that we've said about Seth are nothing compared to what people have said about Chris and Katie. And the things that we've said on Queen Bee's channel, we don't go into their private lives. We don't go into their, go and start looking into what he's done in his life as far as his criminal record or whatever. We don't go and do that stuff. We don't go into their private lives like that. We talk about what we see and what they're doing online. And the shit that he's been doing to Katie online is horrible. The stuff
Right.
that he's done. We don't know if she's guilty.
I don't know.
She's innocent until proven guilty. So the things that there's nasty things that they're saying about Katie is wrong.
Yeah. And the fact is you're innocent until proven guilty. That's how it goes.
Right.
You're not supposed to be punished before you actually get arrested and charged and convicted. I'm sorry. I had that same stance with Lavani Simon. I thought she was guilty 80%. I was like maybe close to 90%. I thought she was guilty, but I was still wrong about that.
Right. And Seth can come up here and tell people that he thinks that she drugged him and killed him. Is that okay? No, that's not okay. So
Right.
yeah, damn right we're gonna call it out.
Right.
Yeah. I don't think it's healthy at all, or even productive for the parents to go against each other when it's their child, and I think that the public, that's the wonderful thing about freedom of speech. Everybody has it and everybody has an opinion. However, when someone goes to judge someone, they need to literally look at their own backyard and make sure that damn thing is squeaky clean before they start calling out people. Right. And I'm talking about, even people, calling out how people do true crime, or how they present it. I mean, yeah, if they're being crappy and, and shitty and shitting all over the whole thing and making it messy, then that's a different thing. However, if someone is, presenting it and puts a little comedy into it to try to, relax the situation, I don't think they should be called out either. And that's just my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. Jason
I mean,
says, hashtags are how YouTube directs people to content. So I had somebody
Right.
actually send me a message and said, I see all the hashtags on your channel. I don't even have hashtags on my channel. So I'm not sure what they're referring to, but apparently there's whatever. I don't even know what they meant by that. Am I like YouTube Studio where you put hashtags? I don't have any. So I don't know if there's something else coming up, whatever it may be. So the issue is tagging and drama. That seems to be what her issue is. I stand on tagging Seth Rogers because he is the one that is creating most of this drama. He is involved in it himself. So if he has no problem swimming in the waters, why do I have to refrain from splashing them?
You
Is my
don't need to be
instead of it.
tiptoeing around him. I mean,
Right.
that's just my opinion. If he wants to dip his toes in, let him dip his toes in. I mean,
Right.
you're not, I don't really see a lot of hashtags in your lives, Jessica, at all. I don't, there's a lot of people I don't see a lot of hashtags in. I mean, do I care what hashtags a creator puts in? No, because I care about their morals and ethics, and I care about what they stand behind. Do I like everything that comes out of every creator's mouth? No. But do I have to watch? No.
Yeah.
I
Well,
mean,
and here's the thing though, like is it just the hashtags? If we kept the content, removed the hashtags, does that change the direction of things? I don't
no,
know.
it won't, because the goalposts are constantly being moved
Yeah, I mean, like,
for everybody.
I mean, that's another thing the nonsense basically said. She was basically claiming, like, okay, you are pointing out the problem, but you're not pointing out the solution. You're like, okay, so how do we educate people about the case if I don't tag the case? How do
Right.
I mean, like, how do I talk about the case if I can't tag? And I mean, like, I was kind of shocked to see nonsense. I was expecting, like, Queen Bee, okay, whatever. That's kind of normal thing. Like, okay, well, another time where, like, every 3 months it's like, okay, we got to have Queen Bees in some video. But like, I was like kind of shocked when I saw nonsense. I was like, wait a minute, nonsense? Like, I've sat through her streams. It's mostly of her just basically going through a live stream and pointing out what is misinformation in the live stream. And that's basically it. I don't understand why she was even mentioned in the video, to be
Because
honest
the
with you.
consistency. That's why I beat him, because it's almost daily. That's what TPE was saying.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
the guy did like 300 interviews. Like, I mean, I'm sorry. It's a lot of content to go through, a lot of things to go through. I think that's probably why she has so many lives on it. And also she has to combat, she's often like have to correct the misinformation. I mean, is it drama to correct the misinformation from Brittany, Brittany J's panel who says stuff? I mean, is that drama? I mean, then
Yes.
okay, I guess that's drama too. But if you're not allowed to correct the misinformation of another channel that's supposedly a true crime channel, then what's the point of the channels?
Right.
I mean, that just, to me, that just seems crazy.
And we were talking, Chris and Katie have not said anything bad about Seth, even though he's trashing the crap out of them. And they have had so much grace for that man. I don't know how she does it, but they have. And people need to call this stuff out. They're not, Seth wants to be a YouTuber. Well, here you go, Seth. You're a YouTuber. This is what happens when you're a YouTuber.
Yeah, people
I'm gonna
review.
call you out just like anybody else.
Well, people review each other all the time, and but yet the ones, sometimes some of the ones that are on the vile side, just because those goalposts have moved, and or they're quote unquote little friends or whatever, they get dropped from that, and they just slide right under the door.
I just think it was just crazy to me that certain people were mentioned. I just thought it was fucking nuts, actually. But
I mean,
and
I didn't watch
in the
it,
same
so.
in the same breath as Dolly Vision, I was like, "What? Are you out of your fucking mind?" Like,
And see, and I can disagree. I mean, like me and B Tim can sit up here and agree to disagree, because, I mean, I watch Dolly. I mean, I don't have any problems with him. Other people do, just like it doesn't matter. It's like, it's all in who that person likes and how they feel about them. And that's their right to their own opinion.
See, what I think it is, when people are saying they're shocked that nonsense was put in there, I'm not. I'll just be 100% honest. I'm not. Because, like I said, it is a thin line, right? So, okay, you're
Very
corrected. You know what I mean? But that's what I mean. If we all just minded our own business and we didn't call people out for how they do things, and we, because it's kind of like we're upset about the moral policing going on one hand, but at the same time, nonsense does moral police at the same time. You know what I mean? So it's like if you're consistently going live for hours about the same topic and the same child in the same case, I understand why it fell in that category. Do I agree that it makes her a TP? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. She's actually out here doing what they said they wanted done, what they stood
I
for
mean,
at one point. So it's confusing at the same time.
I mean, the ridiculous definition of some people with the tragedy pimp thing. It's like, oh, you make money from talking about missing children. Well, then you better go to Fox News, Court TV, CNN.
Exactly.
You better start going there and start telling them that they're tragedy pimps. Tragedy pimps to me is like, I had to think about it and redefine it. Is people that go and bring misinformation and chaos to a case so that they can profit from the chaos. Okay, you could see people like, for instance, Turtle Boy. That would be one person. Another individual would be Betty. Another individual during Georgia would be Dolly Vision. That would definitely be it. You have a situation, that to me is the definition. A person who makes money like a super chat, that's such a broad definition. It could be literally, you can basically say that about a person who just talks about a missing child and gets a super chat and doesn't talk about any drama.
Right.
And suddenly they're a tragedy pimp because they receive $20.
Exactly. That's my point. Like,
just,
what is the actual definition of a tragedy pimp? And no one can tell me.
We should just drop that term. And who are we to police how anybody wants to do anything in general at all anyway? Like, just drop it.
By the way, next says, yeah, you try to redefine it. Ma'am, I have not made $1 on YouTube, actually. I don't make any money. I jump on panels. So I would even be included in that loose definition of making money. So I don't know where you think I make money. I have a job. I actually have a job at work every day, and I don't make $0. Actually, I give more money on this platform to content creators than, I just give money. I don't make any money. So I don't understand this thought process. So I'm not redefining it to basically try to exclude myself. I don't make any money. So I just think that is such a stupid, loose definition that you can include everyone to be a tragedy pimp by that loose definition. It's a stupid definition. You can include, for instance, down the rabbit hole, who basically covers news of every single category, tragic and untragic. You know what I mean? Gossip or not. You can say, oh, she's a tragedy pimp because she makes money from reporting cases. No, that's stupid. What it is.
I think the word is stupid. I really do. I think the whole term is stupid.
It was initially started a while ago. I mean, I don't know. You could call it tragedy vultures. I mean, would probably be better if you want to use that term.
Well, I guess ABC falls under that. CNN falls under that. I mean, I don't know.
If CNN, for instance, let's say CNN ran into, said, okay, we're going to harass the mother of a missing child and go in front of her house and then basically mess with her to the point we need to order protection, then I would say, yeah, CNN would beat that. But I think CNN is I don't know, they spread misinformation, but they don't unnecessarily add chaos most of the time. Situations.
Right. But what I'm saying is the line is so fine that, who made someone else God and to decide who is one and who isn't one and who needs called out and who doesn't need called out just doesn't make any sense to me. That's where I stand.
People have opinions, and that's the thing. You're welcome to for instance, I'm not really you're welcome to your opinions about content creators. You can jump on any panel and discuss how much you dislike someone. And that's basically it. That's what Queen's channel does. I'm sure that's what Granny does. And then they have to present the reason why they dislike someone. You can't just say, I dislike Dolly Vision because nothing. You have to present why you don't like this Dolly Vision. And then people in the group can agree and say, oh, we agree with you. That's a really shitty thing he did. Or people in the group can say, no, I disagree with you. I think Dolly Vision's the greatest. That's an example.
And when are people going to go back though and say, okay, well, maybe that person changed, maybe this person changed, just like I'm going to use Granny for instance. Okay, I've watched her change for well over a year, and the information still is being brought up from years ago when she's already changed, and she's been changed for over a year. When does that end?
Welcome to YouTube. Shane Dawson every 2 years gets the same stuff that happened to him 7 years ago. It never ends.
if
Because
it
what
never
happens is
then-
the new audience comes in. The older people that dislike that person go and grab that information from years ago. They introduce it to the new audience. There's this big upheaval about, oh my God, this is such terrible. And then it lessens its impact over time.
And so
That's
it's the
YouTube.
merry-go-round. So everyone could agree that then every single person that's ever been called out, like, I mean, Dolly Vision, Queen Bee, BH, all of them are going to go through this cycle. I mean,
The difference is that if you're present, what you're doing presently reflects on what you did in the past, and you haven't changed, then yes, you're
Right.
going to. Then that's justified to call you out. For
That-
instance,
I was going to say that if Betty came up and quit doing the things she was doing,
Oh, and I don't like.
I would quit covering her.
yeah,
I mean, like when
it-
she was, I hardly made any videos about her when she was sitting at home in her bed eating chocolate, getting it stuck to her butt. I hardly ever made any videos about her during that time.
Oh,
yeah,
I don't care for her. I really don't. I
Yeah,
don't.
actually,
I mean,
I differ with that.
I
I think
don't.
there was a point where Betty was getting it when she wasn't doing anything wrong. And I was one of the people saying, if we wanted her to change, and she has changed, she's no longer doing what she was doing. But then again, I said, silly me. It was just because there wasn't a case for her to jump on. I didn't realize that at the time.
yeah. I mean, pretty much that's the situation with that. I mean, Dolly Vision. I mean, like he's just doing basically the clipping and stuff like that, and all that bullshit he does in his channel. But is he going to someone's house and fucking with them? No.
No.
So, I mean, like, has he changed? I don't know, but it sounds like he slightly changed, and not to the a little bit to the better. JLR, is he doing the same thing? No, he just. I mean, like he has actually, but it's not to the degree. So I guess.
Nicole says it's about the tagging of the children, their parents, and that corrections of other creators. Creator streams correcting other creators turns into drama and isn't respectful to the victims, in my opinion.
Then how
That's
do you?
true.
But how do you cover the case if you can't talk about the people that are affecting the case? For instance, you have Tony Mathis, who's on a TikTok panel, basically spreading misinformation and also doxing people and also showing his penis to the world to see.
Right.
How am I supposed to not talk about that? I mean, like, am I?
Well, I can remember, Dolly Vision being called out as, bad for seeing it. And then everybody now is talking about it. It just it kind of makes me chuckle because I can't help it because it's like hypocrisy.
What did Dolly do? I'm sorry, you cut
I
out.
mean, he's the one that showed it and everyone was jumping down his throat for showing it.
Showing what?
Tony's peen.
Tony.
Tony's peen.
I don't remember jumping down his throat about
And then
that.
everybody's like, not you, but like there was a
We were
lot
laughing at it.
of down his throat, and it's like, okay, but now everyone's okay with it. Okay.
I never went against Dolly on that, actually.
No, I'm not saying you in particular. I'm just saying other people,
Well,
and it's like
everyone has an opinion. You know what I mean? That's how it is. Some people find something more
it's
offensive than others.
crazy. I think Tony is a piece of shit. I mean, I'm just gonna say it. What he did to Caleb Harris' family was horrible.
Yeah, Tony is a piece of shit. A garbage.
I
think in my opinion, I think he targets cases to try to get some clout and get famous. He's a garbage.
Absolutely, and I agree with you 100%.
And he doxes people on a daily basis, and he works with weirdos named Delta.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when he came on here and said that he had new information, and then he put out that false Amber Alert where it was saying they were looking for a car of this make and model, blah blah blah. That was completely fake. It's a sham.
Yep, absolutely.
But he said because he was talking to Seth and Seth's right-hand man, everybody assumed that was correct information, except for some of us that are smart, that know, not smart, I don't want to say that know about the sham call. Well, anyways, he put it out there like it was truth, and he never came back and said that it was wrong, if I remember correctly.
Right.
I've never heard him come back and say that it was wrong.
He probably won't. I mean, to be honest, I can't see him correcting anything. I haven't.
No.
but I haven't watched everything either. So, but I haven't seen him correct a thing. I mean,
I
he
think the
acts the
biggest
same.
I think the biggest problem here is being labeled true crime. Like, who labels who true crime? If the
That's the
channel
problem.
itself doesn't label themselves true crime, do you put them to what you the same standards? Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's actual true crime channels. I don't think anybody over here is true crime.
No, not
Respectfully,
true
no.
crime.
I agree.
Open
I
panel.
agree.
And I
Yeah.
think that's part of the issue is like the standards are for, you know, I mean, if this is a crime community, then you expect drama mixed in with true crime, right? So maybe some people are just in the wrong sector and they're looking for something that's not being offered. And because they don't see it being offered, they're upset at the way things are going, but it's not the way people advertise themselves. I don't know.
Hmm.
Yeah, I don't know.
Agree.
I've said a dozen times, Queen Bee is an open panel channel that talks about everything. At one week we were talking about Scientology. I don't think that's true crime. So I don't know.
Yeah. And I think every creator can, you know, I mean, obviously, you know, they know what they talk about and they are able to put themselves in whatever they want to talk about. If people want to listen, they'll listen. If they don't, they don't. I mean, shoot, there's 100 thousands of other channels to go watch. Change the channel.
Yeah, well,
You know, instead of hating on people. I
well,
mean,
you know what? People
it's
are welcome to their opinions. I mean, like, I'm just gonna say, like, for instance, if people wanted to make like, oh, I don't like Queen Bee's channel, and they just wanted to make it's like you're welcome to your opinions, but you might be replied to. That's what I'm saying. With Dolly, he's done a lot of things in the past and in the present where people have a right reason to call him out. Now,
what's the
is the fucking clickbaiting bullshit titles, the whole fucking thumbnails where it's like really kind of disrespectful. People call him out for that. And like, is it the worst offender on? And is it the worst offender on this platform? No,
No,
he's not the
I
worst
agree.
offender. But he definitely crosses the line many times, and people call him out for just for right reasons. Now, do I believe in like going like I used to go back and be like, oh, we got to pull up all the old information on Dolly, but
who's to say what's right and what's wrong, though?
Basically, it's a general consensus of society and people in the chat, and also your own personal values and morals.
So it would be one. So it would be a couple of channels and people's opinions.
Well, everyone has an opinion.
Right. That's what I mean. That's what I'm just saying.
Mean, like,
hypocrisy. It's hypocrisy all the way around. Is what I'm saying.
How is it hypocrisy?
I mean, well, if
I do think
call them all.
I think there's such a thin line that even at times when we think we're doing better and we're better than the way we're addressing it, we do fall in the same category. I agree with that. I've always said that.
What do you mean?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Granny,
when we think that we're calling out, we're calling out tragedy pimps or the way somebody's going about something, we can get passionate ourselves to the point where we then fall in the same category, not realizing it, right? So, like, if we're calling out Dolly and his clickbait titles, and we're tagging Seth and Sebastian and Katie and everybody too, at some point we start clowning on Dolly more so than addressing it's all in the way that it's addressed, right? So at that point, it's no different than what Dolly did. We're using the same titles, the same hashtags. Like, I understand.
Okay, so right now I just pulled up a live with Dolly about 5 hours ago. It says, what are they have he's an arrow pointed at Chris Profit stating, what are they hiding? Where is Sebastian? Live call-in. The next title is let me see what other clickbait titles we can look at.
There's a lot of clickbait
Straight
titles.
Madness, Sebastian Rogers. Katie plays victim, scared for her life. Breaking news.
Hey, BTM, me and you are going to have to agree to disagree, but it's okay because I don't have anything against you. I don't know you or anything, but you sitting here picking out one creator, I'm just going to hop down for now, and
I'm just saying.
See you later, Granny. Bye.
I think she supports Dolly. I don't know.
Yeah, I get it. But the fact is that's why people call him out. That's it. I mean,
right? Yeah, no, I get it. I mean, he's very clickbaity, and that's the way he does things, and it works for him.
Is he as bad as Georgia situation? No, I think I haven't seen. I think that probably scared the shit out of him when he got arrested, and he probably said, "Man, I don't want to get fucking arrested ever again." And he probably changed his tune. He probably said, "Yeah, I'm not going to do a BHP and go in front of someone's house." and he probably does that. You know, he says to himself, yeah, you know what, I'm just going to stick to online stuff, and maybe like I'll go to a location and talk about a case, but I'm not going to protest in front of someone's house and risk my ass getting thrown in jail for stupidity. And I think that's what's working for him. And I think also what's working for him is that he doesn't, you know, he's just sticking to the case, you know, and that's pretty much it. I mean, he says he chooses no sides, and that's his get to. I mean, personally, I think that's a little bit of a lie. I think he thinks Katie's guilty, but he's welcome to his opinion but like
he obviously
like
thinks
else.
he sells clean soap and t-shirts and stuff.
Yeah.
But the thing is, there is an audience that enjoys that, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's where it comes down to. Like, even when it comes to Queen or myself or Nonsense or Duchess, I understand TPE's not happy with it, and she's, you know, disappointed and feels the way she feels. But are you then to say that everybody who does enjoy it, that they're wrong in their feelings for enjoying it? That's my whole sentiments. It's like, if people enjoy the content, who are we to say you can't enjoy that? It is morally wrong for you to enjoy that. Like, do we get to diarrhea our morals over everybody else? I don't know. I think it just crosses a line.
I know Savage doesn't like me anymore, but he did go after her granddaughter and tried to and put her picture out and tried to get information on her and said, if anybody knows where I can find the granddaughter, you know, and stuff like that. So that'll never be okay. I don't care what he does. That's never okay, and that'll never end. That's a bad thing he did.
I don't. You can watch whoever you want to watch, guys. I'm not telling you to watch this content creator or stuff like that. I don't. You don't generally see me like, okay, I'm gonna pick out subs that watch stuff. I don't care.
Right, of course.
I do not care. You can watch them. I'm not guilting you for watching them. You can watch whoever you want. But sometimes people will be critical of someone they don't that did something wrong in their mind. Now, is TPE basically being critical of us? Yes. And now I'm replying to her criticism. Am I saying she's not allowed to make her criticism? No. She's welcome to criticize every single person on the internet, just like I'm welcome to criticize every person on the internet. Right. I don't believe in going after her. I don't believe in like because that's the difference between me and BHB and all these people, like the bad people, is that BHB will try to dox you and try to fuck with your real life. I will just make a reply online and say I disagree with you and leave you the fuck alone in your real life. That is the major difference. Granny will just, you know what I mean? Like, that's the major difference. So like with BHB, she will fucking try to copyright strike your channel, find out who you are, threaten your family, and then try to sue you. Me, I'll just make a reply. Now, you might agree with my reply, or you might agree with the other person's reply, but that's it. That's the end of it. And this is just my reply to TPE. I have nothing against her personally. I think she's a very nice person. And I think we just have a disagreement in certain categories, and that's it. Now,
her heart is in the right place.
Yeah, I don't think she's like doing anything like terrible. She just disagrees with us. She plainly disagrees with us. I disagree with her. And
right. That's it.
That's it. That's all. She is not a villain. Queen Bee is not a villain. Granny's not a villain. Nonsense is not a villain. It's just that she disagrees in the philosophy of how things should be going forward. And I wish that she had an open panel where she said, okay, let's have a discussion about this situation instead of a video putting us in the same fucking column as Dolly Vision and Smiley and all these other people. That's just my opinion on that situation. But yeah, I don't think I don't think TP is like this terrible person or anything like that. I think she's a nice person, and I think she just disagrees on the philosophy and how things going forward.
That's how I feel. Actually, it's exactly how I feel. Like, I understand where she's coming from. I certainly do. I don't like the way it was phrased, and I don't like the way it was placed, but she has a right to her content, as do we, right?
Yeah, everyone has a right to their opinions. Even the person who just has one sub has a right to their opinion.
Right.
My biggest problem was, sorry, Kathy, I see you're up here, but my biggest problem is that she lumped everybody in together. Right. I think there should have been 2 separate videos. And I understand that, you know, ever since, you know, Summer Wells and stuff, this whole tagging thing has been a thing that, oh, you're tagging victims in your videos. But it's how you're doing your videos in your lives. It's what you're putting in there. And people think that we're bashing Seth. We're not bashing Seth. My heart breaks for Seth. I feel really bad for him. But but I do not like the way he bashes Katie and Chris. And so I will say it. And the stupid things that the stupid people he's aligning himself with and stuff like that, I don't agree with. And we need to say stuff like that. Because who's gonna stand up for Katie and Chris? You know, people need to stand up for them. I understand they could be guilty just as well as Seth could be guilty. Nobody knows.
And
But
let me ask you a
they
question.
don't
Like,
need to be destroyed in the process because we don't know if they're guilty.
yeah.
Right. There you go. Most
Yeah.
people know where I came from. Excuse me. The hard part I have is I agree. How do you get the information to correct the wrong without tagging? And don't fool yourself. Dolly Vision was right there when he went missing, flying his drone over the
I
Proudfoot
forgot
house.
about that actually.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I don't know what backed him off. I know there was a clip where it said, you know, somebody was yelling at him to get the F out of there.
Thank you for
And
reminding me of that.
I think he might have came face to face with Chris. It is my thinking because he did back off quick.
But here's my thing, Kathy, right? With utmost respect, Dolly did that, and we all think that's wrong, right? But everybody was okay with the fact that Clue was going past the houses and recording and everything. So it's a pick and choose. We pick and choose based off who we like, who we're aligned with, and what we agree with on what is accepted and what is not. And that's my problem with all of it.
Yeah, I agreed. I mean, I think
have permission, like, because she's
tight. No,
Yeah.
Clue
This was
did
before
say,
she was
listen.
friendly with them. This is before she was friends with the Proudfoots.
Okay.
Right,
Yeah.
but she was going to try to fit. I think that the gist I caught of it, because I came in late because Sebastian hit home for me. Okay, my son was very similar, so it hit hard, and so that's how I found out all this BS was going on, because I looked for updates. And so kind of looking back, I think she was trying to figure out more so which way he could have went or how he could have went. You get my point? It wasn't to taunt.
Well, I mean,
I could be wrong. I could be wrong.
Which way she did it, if I'm being honest with you. I'm not putting her out just to put her out. I'm just saying, but you can come up with justifications for that, and Dolly's audience can come up with justifications for why he did it.
But
right?
she did. I will grant her the grace of the fact that she quit when she knew it was, you know, you get my point. I mean, she learned from it. How's that? She learned from it.
Maybe.
Yeah, I get your point. I do get your point that those two can be kind of similar.
Yeah, it's a funky line, because if you're going to go look, you do want to go out. Okay, where could he have gone? You know, so it's all a fine line. But bottom line, so Sebastian comes home. He meets his first love of his life. They're engaged. They're going to get married. And I don't know, for some stupid reason, you Google it, or they look into it and look at all the crap that's going to come up. And the worst part to me is what this child could find that his own father said.
Yeah.
That one bothers me.
Well, it also bothers me that he does this while placing his Cash App on the bottom of it. And it's to me, it's just a very, and I get it, like you say, oh, this is money, this resources are used. It's like, was it used for that? I mean, because your original GoFundMe was so I can basically not have to work. And then we find out that you got all these people that gave you their time off from their job. And then we find out, you're trying, what I mean? It's a very weird situation. And it makes you wonder, like, did you say those things about your son to sensationalize it so you can get more people to watch, donate? And like a lot of his lives are just like, more like, okay, 15 years ago, 10 years ago, we went to Disney World. Like, okay, that's good. I mean, I love it. But are we
SeaWorld? It was SeaWorld.
SeaWorld. can you tell us something about the president like a year ago? I mean, that would be kind of like, what was his habits a year ago? What he used to do a year ago? I mean, that type
Right.
of thing. That would be a
Well,
little bit more important.
and Artist Creek, with utmost respect, and not everyone up here said that shouldn't be happening. Like nobody here said that. That's my whole point, is opposite of what you're writing. So we are now talking about Seth and a Krama channel discussion, exactly what everyone up there says shouldn't be happening. I'm disagreeing. I'm disagreeing with
I'm
that.
looking at the tags. I don't see Sebastian Rogers or Seth or anywhere in the tag. So I mean,
And that's the thing. You're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't, though, right? Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
Or we're going to be called out for mentioning his name in an 84-minute stream. Okay.
right. Like
About
I
this
just,
language.
it's part of the conversation here, right? Like this isn't entirely what the conversation was about. And I didn't even watch all of TPE's video, but I'm hearing she made a comment like, "Oh, Granny and Jay deserve each other." Well, what does that mean? Like,
That comment was uncalled for.
absolutely. I don't even understand what it means. Like, say what it means. Like, you know what I mean? Like, what do you mean by that? They deserve each other. Okay, great.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think that one was off, off chart. I got a lot of her
By the way,
points.
can you do me a favor, Granny? Can you have a mod just confirm that's the real Queen Bee, or is it just an alt?
Let's check. Let's check it.
Because I can't. I'm not.
It's her.
It's her. Okay, I'm just making sure.
Oh, she's coming to chase me off, is what she's doing.
No, it's just like because there's people like Betty will pretend, or like people will pretend to be her, and then Betty will use that person what they type as in her filing. So I have to kind of be careful. That's why I don't want people to pretend to be her and then fucking say something, and then next filing fucking Betty's like, Queen Bee said this in so and so's chat. Blah, 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 blah. Just making sure. Watching out for you, Queen Bee. Just watching out for you.
I think for me is my biggest takeaway from all of it. Well, I mean, she did say she spoke to Queen in private about it, so I guess Queen, you had a little bit of a heads up that she felt this way. But why did for me personally, my thing is like, yeah, you're highlighting what I did a few months ago, but you're not putting up the post where I acknowledge that I went too far in it. You're making comments like, oh, you belong together. What is she really saying? And why weren't others included? Is it because you're friendly with them? Is it because you mod for them? Is it because you really don't see the difference? Is it really the hashtags that are the problem and not the content? Because I think the content's a little more important than the hashtag. You know what I mean? Like, we're all guilty of doing things and not the best way.
Yeah, I mean,
just understand it.
I think criticism is always, something you can always improve upon. But you have to kind of point out all the facts if the person's changing, and also you have to kind of give them a solution. Be like, okay, what is the solution that you want people to do? Like, there's always a crescendo. There's like the beginning. There's the problem, then the worst of what the offense is, and then the solution. And you didn't give the solution at all. You basically said, there's the problem. These people did this. The end.
I think her solution is to stop the hashtags, but
no, it's more than that.
Oh.
It's more. It's like, oh well, you cannot talk if you talk about a true crime case. You cannot talk about any of the drama surrounding the true crime case.
Meh.
The way she insinuated on Queen Bee, she worded it poorly, because she made it almost brought off for just a subscriber, okay, for just on the other side. To me, it almost felt like she was insinuating that it was her and Queen Bee. That you almost got this feeling of team. I don't want to say out of line, but you get where I'm going. It almost like, well, you could take it as that she meant Queen Bee was backing her on that. If to me, I could be way out of line. I don't think she meant it.
I mean, are people going to go at me because I basically talked about Turtle Boy's influence on the Karen Reed case and the circus that they literally had a tailgating party outside a murder trial? Am I supposed to ignore that and just start? Well, Karen Reed, so and so on so and so date. But I'm going to ignore the harassment of witnesses, of the 20 witnesses and the tailgating party, and people throwing rubber duckies at the fucking witnesses and making phone calls to the pizzeria. I mean, like, am I going to just ignore that? Or I'm just going to be like reporting on the case and just ignore that? Because that would not be reporting on what's happening in that particular case at all. That would be like removing important facts that would give a wider picture of the situation.
Well, and
But that's
again, I
drama.
think if you want something just like that, then you go to like Christina Randall, you go to those type of channels. We are, for myself anyway, I'm more of a discussion, a karama discussion. I'm not, that's why I said the
And
other
that's
night.
why it's called drama, because sometimes true crime meets drama.
Right.
I mean, that's
Right.
just how it is, especially with this online social platform where it's not like the old days where you watched an old documentary on TV and everything was like just like that. Now you have a situation where like a lot of online people are jumping in, and you got these online personalities jumping in that cause drama for an actual criminal case, and that causes drama, and that's gonna be the new situation, and even news stations are contributing to that and reporting on the drama. You
Right.
see
It's a
Court TV,
discussion format.
yeah, Court TV talks about the drama with the Karen Reed case. Court TV talks about the drama with the Alex Murdoch case. I mean, like, that's how it is. And unfortunately, like, that's how it is. And if you don't like that category of things where true crime meets drama, then you got to jump to another category, because that's how it is.
That's my point. Call me Frenchie. She doesn't do open panel. She covers the cases. Go there if that's what you're looking for. Hey, Queen. Hey,
Good morning.
Hey.
Yeah,
So,
she invited, like she conversed with you, and you kind of had a heads up as to what was going on. Is how I took
No,
what you said.
not at all. No, she wrote me a couple books. I didn't have time to read them, so that's not at all how the conversation went, though. But we'll talk about it later about all that. That's
Yeah.
not how the conversation went, though. So I'm not sure why she made it out like we had a conversation that I
Yeah.
knew about this video, that I knew. No, that's not how that shit went down. Not at all. Second of all, okay, why would I run you off? You said what you said. You did what you did. It is what it is. I'm not going to
Oh,
sit here and go back and
I was
forth with you.
joking. I'm sorry. Calm down. I was joking. I was joking.
Just joking.
Yeah, I didn't mean
Yeah,
it
this
bad.
is the same one that came okay, so there was a conversation on Justin's panel with some lady, rando fucking lady. I don't know who she is or where she came from. But she came up on
Who?
Justin's panel talking about she was going to come to my court date and all
Oh,
kind of shit. So she comes up on
oh,
my
I
panel and
remember
says,
that lady. Yeah, no, I'm
so,
sorry.
so she comes up on my panel and says, no, she's not going to go to my court date. That's disrespectful and rude.
Well, and then she
She
went.
gave my word, whatever. She's like, I
Yeah.
gave my word. I'm not going to do that. Da, da, da. But then, no, 2 seconds later, you go to your own panel talking about, yeah, I should probably have somebody go for me.
Yeah, I heard it. For some reason, I went and looked. I was kind of pissed, so I just ducked out. I don't know why. I thought, well, who is this lady?
I heard
And
that too. I know
look,
who it is.
I didn't know who it was, but she got about 5 seconds of my time. And I thought, well, do I email Queen Bee? I'm sure somebody's emailing her. Should I tell her?
Yeah, I
You
was
know,
It was
actually
that lady
commenting
K.
in the
It's
stream.
the lady K. That's she had a panel. You guys know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, because I
weird.
was commenting in her
So
stream,
weird.
and then somebody messaged me. It was like, "Girl, rewind that back 20 minutes," and I went back, and I was like, "Oh no, oh no."
Yes. Okay.
yeah, that's not me. And I'm
You're
sorry.
Kathy, but Lady K is who I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, no, honey, I'm
Yeah.
no lady.
She's so I don't even know who the fuck she even is. I have no idea. Anyways, long story short, I didn't know about this video. Didn't know it was going to be made like this. She didn't go over it with me. We did not have a conversation, and she did not say, "Hey, I'm making a video where I'm mad about hashtags for the last 3 years, so I'm going to make a premiere about it."
Yeah, I think she handled it distastefully. I get her point.
Well, and to put Duchess in, first of all, I keep an open panel, so my panel swings from conversation to. I mean, we could be talking about. You know what I'm saying? We can talk about
crocheting,
talking about marijuana, to talking about kids in school, to talking about, you know what I'm saying, school games, talking about social media, to talking about drama, to talk, you know what I'm saying? My panel shifts nonstop.
I don't even know how to describe your channel, to be quite honest with you. I like it. I like it.
As a ship in the open sea, and sometimes the storm comes in and rocks that ship from one side to the other.
I never know who's going to click that link or what they're going to say. I cannot control what people say or do.
You get strangers like me. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. That's why we like to have open panels. Great. Don't you like it, Granny? Don't you like having people come up that you don't know every single day?
Yeah, I
You know
I thoroughly
like
enjoy
people.
it.
But I think
you get a different
Duchess in there,
perspective.
I will say putting Duchess in there I was really shocked that because there's tragedy pimps for fucking days. Right. But we're pointing out hashtags, really?
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like, is the hashtags is that more important than the actual content? And,
You know
and
what,
that's
though?
where it became confusing.
on my understanding, there's a place for tags specifically because that's how YouTube works. You tag who you're talking about. You tag who you're going to be talking about.
That's
So
why
if
they
I
also
tag
tag.
Sebastian, I'm going to talk about Sebastian. If I tag Sebastian and don't talk about him at all in a 5-hour stream, that's a fucking problem.
Right. Right. And
Right.
there were times that
But
I would
see,
start a stream with a certain idea, a certain topic,
Yep.
and an idea of how it would go. And then because of the open panel or just the reading of the room, it would go differently. So I remove the tag, I change the title, I do things to fix it. But it's easy for people who don't live stream, who don't have panels, to judge and think there's something nefarious about it. And I'm so tired of this whole paywall thing. I have a right as a fucking creator to give my members content, whether you guys disagree with it or not. Like, I have a right to do that.
You have a right to put anything anywhere you want. I mean,
Right.
it's your channel. Walk. If you don't like
Yeah.
it, don't look. Right.
Yeah,
I mean, isn't that the whole?
Apparently, Queen, she mentioned the Cunningham press conference. Remember when you put that behind because someone jumped up on the damn panel?
Yeah, she didn't take the time to go look because she's a member, been a member. She didn't take the time to go look at that fucking live, but that's all right. We'll go show it. It's all right.
You know what? I heard that part, and I'll be honest with you. I guess because I'm a follower of yours, and I thought, well, I know there's reasons you have to do that. Sometimes I guess I just automatically knew that it could have went behind because somebody said something inappropriate or off the wall or
and
and
Queen's in
so
litigation. She can't delete
yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, weird. But I'm sure a lot of people could. That's kind of where she lost me when she said that. I'm like, yeah, up yours. And, yeah, that one was, again, uncalled for. Again, I get her point, but it could have been handled better.
Can I say one thing real quick? And then I gotta hop down. My internet keeps blipping out. Um, I know that it was talked about earlier, and she addressed it in her video. About saying something. Talking about Seth. I've never called him a disparaging name or anything. Now, what I have said is his actions towards Sebastian, the things that humiliating things that now the world knows about him that should never be known. Um, the uh, Him being in a chat of a woman that said that his son was defective, that she talked to veterans and they know how to dispose of a body. And then to top it all off, now we've included the pig farm. So she can have her opinion, and that's cool. It's all cool. But I can have my opinion too. And I know that I will never meet Sebastian one on one. Never in my lifetime will I do that. Not because he's not here, just because what are the chances? But I know that I'll be able to look him in the eye and not sit there and now if Katie and Chris were doing the exact same things and Seth wouldn't, then I would be saying the exact same things. But I pose this question. There's a lot of Z coverage, okay? So anything could happen to anybody's child, whether they be a minor or an adult. They're still your child. If something would happen to Ziggy's child, would all of the content come down and her 100% grace be given? That's my question.
It's kind of what I was saying earlier, right? Like, I can have empathy for the fact that he has a missing child, but I can
I
also
do.
acknowledge that he
And
has jumped into drama himself. He's participated. He's added to it.
exactly. And Cheesy and a lot of us have given him grace on the fact where a lot of people stood on his neck and said what he has to be there, 14, 16 hours, 12 hours by himself, da 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 da. Some parents have to do that to be able to pay rent. They don't have a choice. So, okay. But it's the lies. It's the, didn't have internet, all the things. I'm not going to go into the case, but I'm just saying if I can have an opinion, she can have an opinion. I can have an opinion, you know. But I think the whole hashtag thing. Then, I mean, what is your title supposed to be? We're gonna chat and just not. I mean, how do people find the clarification of the misinformation that's being put out if you don't hashtag?
Right.
Yeah,
That's what I mean. Like, how do you get the audience that needs to hear it if you don't hashtag it? And I do agree. There are times where there shouldn't be a tag, right? There are times where
right,
Sebastian
right,
shouldn't be tagged or,
right.
whatever it may be. But again, that's up to each person's moral. And like I said, sometimes we go on with the idea, and I'm sure it's happened to you many times, Queen, where you think the topic's going to be this, and then it goes into a topic and then another subtopic. And before
Oh
you,
Lord, yeah.
you're completely off the main topic.
Hmm. But
Oh
it's
yeah, and
called
she knows
having a
that.
conversation and
Well,
an
see, I
open
don't
panel.
understand how she's held a wrench for me for God. I don't even know. The last 2 years, I'm not even sure. I hold a wrench for her, and you couldn't come tell me you were gonna make a tragedy pimp video and try to throw us in there.
Yeah, I thought she did tell you. I didn't.
Like, no, baby, the conversation didn't go like that. I'm just gonna let you know that right now.
Oh, wow.
Well, she
And I've
did make it
seen,
sound like I
And
don't want
she's
to
upset.
call her out.
Well, another thing too is she was upset from something about a year ago, which I mean, I timestamped everything in that video. Anything she said, I answered her. If she needed a question, why not ask me? That's why I said right there in that comment section. Why not ask me if you had a question like that and you reached out? Why not ask me? Why'd you put Audrey's stuff behind the paywall? I would have told her.
Yeah.
I would have fucking sent her the video and said, "Here, go ahead and go through it."
I
I don't
mean,
know why anybody would pay a membership to watch that. Well, I don't know why anybody would pay a membership to watch it either.
Right.
yeah, I mean, if you
No,
heard
because
the,
my live was derailed. I'm supposed to go in and change the fucking title and not talk about what?
With the opinion of
I
it.
have
Right.
I have seen Queen Bee when we've been talking about a missing child or something, and then other people have come on and derailed the conversation completely towards drama. And she has said, "Hey, we need to stop this and go to a different live to cover this." But I mean, to be realistic, how many times does she have to do that when she has an open panel and we don't know what the conversation is going to go to? How many times does she have to say, "Hey, I need to stop and go to do a different live to
Exactly.
rename it"? I
I've
mean,
heard it a
that's
lot.
unrealistic. You can't do that every time. But I have seen her do it. I've
Right.
Yeah.
seen Queen Bee do
Yeah.
it. But
Oh,
you
yeah.
can't do it every single time. I mean, that's crazy. Crazy talk.
No,
Well,
I've
that's
definitely
all
had to
she'd be
restart lives.
saying.
I've definitely had to restart lives, and she knows that. Another thing too, she goes, and she tagged Cash Cow, and I didn't like that. Well, I'm sorry. I'm sorry you don't like it. I don't like it either. But these kids are the true crime and drama Cash Cow.
Yes.
Don't
Yes.
give a fuck how much you don't like it. That's what it is. Summer Wells bank was made off that little girl's back. Bank.
That's
You hear
it.
me?
Yeah.
Thousands and
Still
thousands
being
and
Rogers,
thousands and
look,
thousands of fucking dollars made off that little girl's back.
and still
Thousands and
being
thousands of
made.
dollars made off Quentin Simon's fucking back. Thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars made off Michael fucking Vaughn. Are you kidding me right now?
Yeah.
You fucking kidding me?
That's what I mean. And then it comes that, like I said, it obviously there is some bias. And for people to act like there's not, it's just that's insanity. There is bias.
Human nature. Human
Right.
nature.
We
And
all
it's
have
not
it.
that Queen Bee was, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but pardon me for talking for Queen Bee, but I don't think she's calling these kids a cash cow. It's the tragedy pimps and it was, what was it, MGL that did call Summer Wells a cash cow?
Oh, yeah.
And it was more of a,
It was Molly actually who called her a cash cow. It was
slam
Molly
on
who
them.
called her the cash cow. Molly.
Yeah, MGL. Yeah,
Yeah.
she called Summer Wells a cash cow.
So
And
aren't
that's more of a
hashtags,
slam on the tragedy pimps. That's the way I took it as.
I thought so too, but isn't hashtags like what, one or two words supposed to be? And how can you say that in a hashtag, how can you say so-and-so using so-and-so for cash cow? That's not going to work, right?
Right.
And
I
you,
mean, you could. You absolutely could. You can write sentences with hashtags. Yeah, you
And you
could.
guys listen to this. You know what I did last night? I typed in hashtag into YouTube, and do you know what popped up?
A video about how to
listen,
hashtag.
listen. I scrolled down 3 times. Bam, bam, bam. With my little, you know, like your little roller. Boom, boom, boom. Scroll down 3 times. It was Clue's video that she made about Seth and Tony, and there's no tags in it at all.
Wow.
No
That's
tags.
interesting.
None.
That's what I'm
wow.
saying. So do the tags really matter more than the content? I don't
No,
think
I
so.
don't think tags give a shit, but there is a place on your YouTube to add tags specifically to add the tags of people that you're speaking about.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I thought
Absolutely.
the hashtags were for the algorithm.
No. They don't really make that much of an impact, to be honest.
Right.
I mean,
They really
even
don't.
if you
It just
Google it, it
groups
tells
what
you
you're
it does
talking
it.
about. It just puts it into groups.
Right.
And yes, somebody said, oh, she
Okay.
tagged autism. Okay, is Sebastian, have we not heard people scream autism and autistic the last 6 fucking months?
Right. And
Because
sometimes
I
that's
have.
correct
That's
misinformation
all I
about
hear.
it. Right.
And he does have autism. It needs to be in there. That, you know what I'm saying? People with autism
Well,
should
look at,
comment
yeah.
on this. They should have some comment on this. They raise children who struggle with things with autism as
Well,
well.
look,
You know what I'm saying?
look what you pointed out. Look
Yeah.
what you were able to point out with the term autism. How eye-opening was that? Like, oh my gosh, yes. By those videos you pointed out.
Well, Call Me Frenchie says, TPE speaks from my heart. My pain is very close to our emotions and feelings. We need people like this in society, and we need to be reminded that nobody's above and beyond anyone around here. Well, first off, I'm very close to my emotions and feelings too, and I'm passionate about what I speak about, right? Secondly, I feel like TPE acted like she is the one that's above and beyond everybody else. Like she's doing it all right, and we're doing it all wrong. So, completely disagree with your statement there. I mean, there was a way to do it, and I didn't think that was it. Hey, nonsense.
Good
Sorry.
morning, my fellow tragedy pimp extraordinaires.
Yes.
I just wanted to pop on right quick and say something that this didn't even hit me. I was so confused. I could feel the heat from a few of my ladies, and that's why I went live to address it last night, because I was just confused and they were more upset than I was. I was like, I don't care, because here's my problem. At the end of the day, she says she corrects misinformation. So I expected to see her correcting misinformation. What she pointed out was her personal issues with tagging, her personal issues with titles of the videos, her personal like or dislike of numbering videos, her personal opinions on the drama, which I'm sorry, but I've learned enough that should have just been left alone, because they've got drama the same when they talk about the people they talk about as we do. It's just going to happen. That's a natural deflection technique of these people.
Wait a minute.
So,
You're talking about there's no drama with TPE and Ziggy?
yeah, well, I couldn't tell you about it, B-Tim, though, because I don't even belong over there. I don't go there. I don't know. The only way I know of this person is because
the
of
thing
Queen
is, the
Bee's mod.
TPE, 6 Up Media, and the Jerks all came from Ziggy's channel. So when they got upset, all the Jerks were mods. Most of the Jerks were mods for Ziggy, as well as 6 Up Media and TPE. That's why you see a lot of 6 Up Media's content and TPE's content is Ziggy. That's why the Jerks do a lot of content on Ziggy, or they used to. I don't know if they do now. I don't watch them. I don't know. But they, as a collective, come from Ziggy's channel.
See, I don't.
Can I just say one more
Now,
thing?
me
Then
and
I'm
6
hot
Up, we
down.
don't speak over the whole heel situation, which me and TPE, we didn't let that get in the way of our friendship. But some things do.
Same, Queen. I just want to say one more thing. I do think it's kind of sad that we all sit there and say, "Oh, I wish these families would," I wish these families would unite together, and or a family would come out and be able to, to stop, some of this madness. And then we do have a family that is actually doing something, that's actually taking the appropriate steps, not on YouTube, but the appropriate steps to protect themselves and their child. And we now have the community divided again. That just leaves a very bitter taste in my mouth. It just does. And that's just my opinion. Yeah. But I'm going to hop down. I think that's kind of sad, but, whatever. It is what it is. But anyway, it's just, yeah.
Yeah.
Hashtags are more important than uniting, quit the hate bonding and all the bullshit, and coming together for a greater good, or whatever you want to call it, and whatever. But it's fine. I'm just going to, I'm not changing me. I am me. And if everybody liked me when I woke up, I would be scared. So everybody, just don't lie on me, and don't go after my character. And those are the only two things. That's it. I'm gonna hop down. Thank you for letting me up, Granny. Bye, y'all. Bye, Pam. Bye,
Have a
everybody.
great day.
Bye, Rowena.
I think if it was going to be labeled a conversation should have been offered, right? That's my only complaint with it is like, well, where did a conversation take place with you and
Yes.
your friends behind the scenes with, because she made that statement about, and that's why you lost a lot of us, Granny, and that she just wanted to make her audience clear that she doesn't support me anymore. And it's like, it felt like it was very like, I don't know.
Did it feel intentional? Because I didn't at first think it was intentional, but then I started to think about it a little bit further. So I would love to hear your guys' opinions, because for me, an intentional video like that, where you start off, I'm sorry, but putting me next to people who fake phone calls and missing childs, that was very intentional. She started out with the tragedy pimps, then she segued into us, then she went right back into the worst of the worst. If you can't tell me that that's intentional, because if there was a difference there, she would have separated it out, put us in the beginning, talked to us a little bit, addressed her concerns, and then went on to address the other ones, in my opinion. That was very intentional how it was laid in right in the middle. And to me, this wasn't about what it seemed to be, again, because her perception of community is not even, I don't even know those people. I don't go there. Like, I don't know the Ziggy stuff. I don't belong there. I have a community and I overlap with a lot of you guys, and I come in and I hang out and, stuff like that when we talk about the same discussions. But her perception of that, it seemed very intentional that it just seems very intentional. It seems like we're missing something else going on here. It doesn't seem like it was just a community discussion at all, in my opinion, because there was no discussion to be had. It was open for discussion. And then as soon as we started to have the discussion, it was, no, you're doing that wrong too. What the fuck? Well, I'm just going to continue to do what I do.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I didn't even watch it all or listen to it all yet. I didn't get like really through it. Chasen's asking if she's here for the convo. That may be a good way to go about this. Well, she started the convo without inviting any of us for it. You know what I mean? So like, I don't know. Was I supposed to email her to let her know I'm going to converse in the conversation she started, type of thing? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. She can be here. She's welcome to come up and have a discussion. I feel like some of her criticism was fair, and some of it I feel like wasn't fair. I feel like there was a bit of like, for example, I know nonsense you mentioned. It actually really upset me because I feel like you do this several times. Like, I have this scarlet letter, which is why
I'm sorry.
it does feel that way. And to be honest, I'm no worse than what a lot of other people have done. I just have psychopaths that go live daily about it and
I know.
dramatize it. You know what I mean?
Well, and that's what they wait for you to do something wrong. And sorry, I should have explained that in the very beginning of where that popped off and why I use it as an example, because that was the only thing that I could think of. They always push this pressure on you need to address Granny. You need to, like, and that's the only thing I could think of recently that I went and watched the video, and that was it. Like, that was all of it was there. And I still stand on what I did. You took it down, or, whatever you did with it. I don't know what their expectation is, but that was the only thing I could really recognize. Like, but I get why you feel that, because you have people all day long doing that to you.
Yeah, all day. And to be honest, my first thoughts, if I'm being completely honest, is that Queen, you fell out with Savage. They all moderate for Savage, and Becky, you moderate for Queen. So I really saw the connection was more so there. So it's kind of like why I feel like you do that with me often, to be honest, Becky. I feel like
I didn't even know that.
Any backlash you get, you like kind of tie it into like, oh, what? Because great, like, and it's like, well, why does it always have to be because of me? I feel
it's just so specific people, which I'm sorry you do feel that way, and I'm glad you're addressing that, honestly, because it's just the
and again, there's subscribers that want creators to take on their fucking issues. Oh my
Always.
God.
All day.
Name, go after her, say something. Oh my God, such and such said this about me and I'm upset about it. Can you say something to her?
Right. All the time they do that.
No, you need to handle your own shit. Like,
right. And why didn't they call it out 3 years ago? No, I get it. I have people emailing me about you. And I'm like, I seen all your guys' bullshit, the Veda J, all of that. I'm like, I'm not interested. I know, and they bait people to do that shit. And like I said, a few weeks ago, I tuned into a stream where I thought I was cordial with the person. I thought we were all kind of friendly and all. And they made a comment that was directed towards me without saying my name, with their new little moderators hyping it up, about me now kissing the ass of somebody who went at me. And they're referring to me being friendly with you, Queen. And I'm like, oh, so your vibes changed because I'm in her chat, right? Like, so for people to act like there's not some type of, bias because you like somebody I don't, or I like somebody you don't, that's bullshit. It is. And it's definitely there. There's
Absolute
been an
bullshit.
undertone for a few weeks now.
It's been a couple months. If you're being honest, that this has been going on. Look at what's happened. That has been the thing. They try to get the creators to infight. They want Queen, you, me, anybody else to go at each other constantly. There's constantly this expectation of us addressing each other. Why do we? I don't know. Same thing that happened in the Georgia case too. And I'm sorry you feel that way, Granny. I honestly am. It's definitely not intentional. It's just been, that's where I have been getting this nonstop. They act like there's this just, we ignore every single thing. I don't even know what they're talking about 9 times out of 10 when they're talking about, well, she did this because it was 3 years ago.
Right.
I'm going to say that,
it's
like,
exhausting.
unless the thing that happened 3 years ago correlates to what's happening today, it doesn't. I mean, like, you can look at it, but if the person has changed, then it doesn't really fucking matter at that point. If it correlates, if she's doing the exact, or he's doing the exact same thing 3 years ago, then you can use that as a pattern of behavior and say, well, so-and-so did this and so did this back then. That you can do. But if the person just basically didn't do that again, then you're just basically, and you constantly bring it up, you're just basically doing like, okay, I'm going to try to damage that person's persona, their online persona, so that I can build up my case, because my case is so weak for the current situation. I have to dig up shit from 3 years ago. Right. Just, you know what I mean? And that's what you're really doing. You're trying to build an argument. You don't have enough information. You don't have enough dirt on them today. So you dig up in the past shit that happens in the past. I mean, I'll give you an example.
Not only that, but at what point do we acknowledge that the people that are calling me out are worse than me? Like, if they're calling me out by doxing me and doxing my loved ones and putting out where they think I live and talking about my children, I'm a danger to them, and pulling up medical records and my background and everything, if that's their current behaviors, do you think they get to talk about what I did 3 years ago? Or do you think that played into why I responded how I did? You know what I mean? Like, are you really better? Are they better than me at that point? Like, they're currently doing what they want me to be called out for doing. What, for losing my shit because you're exploiting my personal life?
Granny, did they tag you? Did they tag you? That's the most important thing.
Absolutely. And I don't know why YouTube removed I don't know why YouTube removed that. That I do too, Vivian. I don't know why YouTube removed that. We can no longer block people from tagging us. They don't do anything about their harassment. So yeah, you get fed up and you flip out. That whole me comparison that Jennifer Soto, I didn't express myself correctly because I was upset, but I stand behind my sentiments. They're watering it down. You're saying I'm a pedo sympathizer while you're putting my full goddamn name out there, my children's names and everything, and you're labeling me a pedo defender with a guy that you dated and got tattooed on your arm. And they call me Casey Anthony all the time. I don't see Chronicles calling that one out. I guess it's okay to call it because you don't like me. Don't call shit that you're doing the same and participate in.
I've actually asked them to show me, like, in that, speaking of that, I did respectfully ask, this person came at me and said, well, she did this, this, and this. And I said, you're free. Go to my community post and post these things. Have I seen any response? No, because anything recent that I've asked to see, they don't have. It's like, I'm not going to take somebody's word on something. And I still, even if they show me this, okay, I'll watch it. But a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, why are we, does it correlate to now? At what point do you allow somebody to move and change and grow? I've heard you take tons of accountability for things that I didn't even know existed or happened or anything like that. But at what point do they stop and say, okay, she's trying to grow?
They don't. That's the problem. But to be honest, the Jennifer Soto thing was obviously recent because the Madeline Soto, I did into the stream. I realized, like, man, I shouldn't have put this with this. I fucked up. That's why I private it. But because they claimed that I private it because I was hiding what I said, I even played again what I said on a recent stream. I stand by what I said, just not the way I phrased it, because I was angry at the time. Because once again, I have these idiots saying I'm a danger to my children while putting my address up. How about CPS baiting? Anybody going to call that out? Or no, because I'm the big scarlet letter, right? I'm the big bad wolf here. So
Ugh.
everything done to me is okay because 3 years ago I said she needed to wear a fucking helmet. Oh, shoot me. Tired of it, man. I'm tired of like constantly
I'm sure.
apologize and act like I'm the devil or stuff. Nothing I did is any worse than anybody on this panel has ever done at a time or two themselves. Sorry. It's just fact. I'm
We
sick of it.
all, everybody does. I mean,
Especially when it comes to our families.
I'm going to not call out a name, but one of the particular creators that sits on the other side had a short of me claiming I was threatening to go real life on somebody up for over a year, and just recently apologized and took it down and said they had it wrong. Well, no, that was intentionally clipped out of context because I never threatened
That's
this
what they
person.
do.
It was
Yep.
Uni. It was supposedly I was threatening to go real life on Uni. No, I didn't. That was
That's what they do.
what? That was so weird. But
And I know you, Queen, have experienced a particular clip channel clipping you out of context as well. They do it all the time.
Oh yeah, we're still
exhausting.
we're still dealing with that in court. We're still dealing with that
Yeah,
shit.
Oh
clips
my
me.
God.
Also clips me and then blocks me, so I can't make comments in the
Can't
comments.
respond.
Shady does the same shit. I'm blocked over there too. She got me blocked fucking 10 ways to Sunday, but does not have any fucking qualms putting up a video of shit. Like,
Right.
really?
Yep.
Okay.
It gets exhausting when people only look to clip you at these worst moments, when again, you can listen to these people that are calling me out, admitting that they're doing so to get me triggered into responding to them. They come back and we're like, I'm shocked Granny didn't respond, or, oh, she's going to go off for a week. She's going to be so mad when she goes live tomorrow. That is their purpose. That is their intent. Am I supposed to act like this shit ain't happening because, well, I might, I mean, whatever, you know? I think I've done pretty well with what I'm against, to be honest. I give myself credit.
Compared to like, I think all of us have dealt with some crazy stuff. I can say Queen I know has. I can say Granny has for sure. The thing about it is, for that conversation, like, you do snap at times. We're human beings. Like, I think this expectation, like, I don't think anybody expects perfectionism, but what is the expectation? Where do we go from here? Because a lot of people have enlightened me to the tags and the titles are so important. We're never going to get them near. So those conversations I would love to hear more of, because maybe we are doing it wrong. Maybe there is a respectful way that we do this. There is hidden tags too, which I don't know shit about and would love to learn about. But is there an appropriate way that we can do this so we can combat the misinformation and get these videos side by side with this? The drama's going to come. We're all monetized. I don't think any of us should feel shame for that. And then we just carry on and continue to do our best. That's all I can do. And I appreciate you letting me up here, Granny. I'm going to hop down. And I'm really sorry that you feel that way. I really
No, I'm glad
genuinely
that
am.
we could speak about it, because it did feel that way. And then I was like,
Yeah.
you know what? I'll unsubscribe and then maybe it can stop being blamed on me, type of thing. And I'm like, well, that
Yes.
doesn't really do a difference either.
No,
The fact of the matter is, I think the only way to do I think when people talk about hashtags or titles or whatever, look at the content more so and the person's intentions. And I think intentions speak more, right? We all make mistakes. We all misstep. There's a very thin line. We all cross it at times. But is your intent to profit off that tragedy?
Right.
Is your intent harmful? And the answer is no. So do you then get categorized with people who is? And my understanding, a lot of people were saying a particular big offender of this wasn't even mentioned, but a mere mention, right? So it's like, are you, it's just one of those
There was a
things. It's
lot
like,
missing. There was, I could name 10 right off the top of my head that I was thinking of that fall into these same categories on different levels, either really, really big creators or really, really low. It was just very, I mean, there's a need for a conversation here, because I think we can all learn how to do better for victims and their families at the end of the day. But we have to take that into account. At the end of the day, like, that's who this is about. So her opinion isn't the end all be all, which I don't think she wants it to be. But
right.
to open up a conversation, you open dialogue and not just this intentional call out with no open-endedness to it, if that makes sense. I hope you guys all have a wonderful day.
She made a post that basically said, I'm not interested in your reasonings. So it wasn't a dialogue.
Yeah, that was during my live, and that's what just threw me back, because I was like, wait a second, like, and then I just, nope. See you guys.
Bye. Hey, Pearl.
Hi, Granny. I just wanted to come up. I mean, obviously, Tragedy Pimps Exposed is somebody that I consider a friend, but apart from saying that she was going to do something that she said was a controversial live, she didn't say anything to any of us about what she was doing the live on. So the idea that we're a collective, as Queen Bee expressed it,
I didn't
is
call you a collective.
ridiculous.
I said you guys all came from
Yeah,
the
you
same
did. You
channel.
actually used the term collective. You did use the term collective.
Yeah, you came from the channel as a collective. Yes, you guys did. You
no,
all
we
came from the
didn't.
same
No,
channel.
we
Yes, you
didn't.
did.
No, we were in the same channel for a year. If people look back, and anybody who's got any idea of the history,
What would the word you
the people
use
who are
instead of a
involved in the
collective?
joke. Can I actually speak?
Sure.
Thank you. We were actually sworn enemies with Six Up and Tragedy Pimps Exposed. We didn't all leave at the same time. So the idea that we're a collective is pushing it too far. Are you a collective with everyone that you're friends with? Do you agree with every single thing that your friend does?
I
No,
agree that I came from Critical Case channel as a collective with other women. Yes, that I'm no longer friends with, but yes, I did come from their channel, just like you and TP and Six Up and other women all came from Ziggy's channel. I'm not saying you're friends now or that you hang
So
out
I'm a collective.
about
Would
the
you say
video,
I'm a
but
collective
as a
with
collective,
Liplock
you did
then?
leave that channel. You guys all left that same channel. Whether you're friends or not, you guys were all a part of that same channel.
We're friends now. We weren't friends then. Would you say that I'm a collective with Liplocked?
With who?
Liplock no more.
I have no idea who you're friends with. I don't know, and I don't care. What I'm saying
Exactly.
is, you all came
don't
from
know.
Ziggy's
You
channel.
don't know, but yet you're using the term and making it seem like it was a collective action because you want to try and drag.
No,
other
you did come
creators
from
into
Ziggy's
this
channel
argument.
as a collective. Did you not? You didn't.
Not
You
as
didn't
a
come from
collective.
Ziggy's channel.
No,
You didn't
not
come.
as a
You were
collective.
never on Ziggy's channel.
I was in Ziggy's channel. I never appeared on Ziggy's channel. I was in her chat. I was a mod.
Okay,
for
so just
5
the other
months.
women then that were mods. You were a mod for Ziggy too? No.
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
How
yeah.
does that make us a
Okay, that's right.
collective?
So, okay, yeah. So you did come from Ziggy's channel, just like the other girls did.
Yes.
Whether you're friends
I
or not,
don't
I don't
believe
know.
that
And I
there's
don't care. But as a
anybody who's
collective, you
confused
did come
about
from
that.
Ziggy's channel.
No, we didn't come as a collective. We were dead set
Okay.
against
Obviously,
Six Up
you're not
and
understanding what I'm
Tragedy
saying.
Pimps
Collective must
Exposed.
be a different meaning. You must have a different meaning for that word, and I'm sorry for that.
The
You've been wanting to
dictionary
argue for a long time.
excuse
Pearl,
me,
you've been had an issue.
dictionary
No.
definition of
You've been had
collective
an issue.
is
I'm
an
not gonna do this.
enterprise that works
Granny, you have a
together.
good day, baby. I'm not gonna do this because this bitch has been had an issue. This is my voice changer. You like my voice changer, Pearl?
You can't
like my
deal
voice
with
changer?
anybody who's got a difference of opinion.
No, you came up here to
Run off
start
to your
shit by the
own
word
channel
collective.
and
If you
get
want to start
angry
shit,
about it because
I
I
keep an open
called you
panel.
out.
I keep an open panel, Pearl. You're welcome anytime.
Yes, and you kick people when they start
Oh, do I?
making you uncomfortable. Yes, you do. You
Do
kicked
I?
me twice the last time I was up there.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, you did.
I mean, Pearl, to be fair, there is an underlying issue that you have with Queen.
Yes, she does.
You can feel it. I mean, I felt it.
I do.
What
have an
is it?
underlying-
She
Oh,
gets
because-
wait, be careful if you call out, she'll be sick and she won't be able to speak to you. She'll be really sick.
Oh, come on, Queen. Don't make fun of the
That's
accent.
not-
We can
Queen
do
Bee.
better.
Queen Bee,
We
I'm
can do
just
better.
saying.
you did have a life-limiting illness.
Y'all
One
have a
time
good
I
day.
came
I'll talk
up-
to y'all later.
See
One
you.
time I came up and I said that I'd just woken up and I didn't feel very well as an explanation of why perhaps I wouldn't be at my most articulate. It wasn't an excuse. And I still, as you said, I was still fighting everybody. So I still handed you your ass on the plate, even though I was ill and I'd just woken up.
You're just
Anyway,
talking to yourself now, but okay.
Well, you did. You showed up, right? So at least you showed up. But I have to admit, Pearl, I feel like a lot of people stopped coming around when I started making an appearance on Queens. And I did feel the vibe change. And I do feel like it is because there is such a divide between, people who like her and people who don't. And I feel like me being friendly with her made people no longer come and be friendly with me. Do you agree that happened?
I don't know whether I would agree that happened. I did find the whole situation with the defence of Clue sort of confusing because Queen Bee was very much open to defending Clue, which she's entitled to do. I don't have a problem
No,
with that.
she.
I don't know why
defended
she's
her
got to.
Wait. I let you talk. Now you can let me talk. She defended her outburst. She thought it was one outburst. She didn't think that, and it was out of basically being doxxed by a guy who doxed her real life, had Betty go to her house, talk about taking a piss on her house and all that stuff. We did not know that she was hanging out in a racist chat No one knew that she was hanging out with a known racist, garbage human being until much later. We were able to respond on that. That's what happened. But that outburst, that F word, which I'm really against, I do not like, and you actually can hear me in that actual live stream saying, I don't like that word. I think anyone that uses that word is an ignorant idiot, moron. You show your stupidity when you say things like that. I've said that. But when she initially said that, I thought she was under pressure from basically being fucked with in real life by Betty, by this guy who doxed her in real life, basically pointed out that her kid was basically going to be harassed. I mean, like, I don't agree with outbursts like that. Believe me, but that doesn't automatically turn you into a fucking racist because you say one outburst. It does turn
I
you into
agree with you there. I completely agree with you on that thing.
it does
Anyway,
you go. I'm sorry.
it slightly got bypassed into the situation with Queen Bee because I wanted to correct the collective notion. I wanted to talk about Tragedy Pimps Exposed. I feel that she went live without actually having a conclusion, and so it was just a bit too scattergun and a bit. She was making a fairly decent point pretty badly, and I love your TPE, but it was not. The thought process wasn't complete. If
That's
you're
how
going
I
to have a conversation, then you have to have a conversation. So I think that she initially started from a good place, and I think there was some good points in that. I just don't think that it worked, and I don't think that you can say it's time to have a conversation and then not literally have an open panel or a conversation. I
Agreed.
think that is a problem. I do think that it is being exploited by people. I saw people immediately over in Nonsense's chat talking about us and talking about Six Up, and it just seemed really strange because it's just like, just because you're friends with somebody doesn't mean that you are intimately involved in something
Agreed.
that's presented. Um,
I agree.
I do think that she's got a point. I just don't think that there's a solution to it. I don't look at tags. I've already said that. And I think that what's going to happen is even worse. I think that the AI will eventually do the tagging. And if you've ever seen the AI descriptions of the chat, my God, they never get it right. They'll be off on a complete tangent telling you what this chat is about. And I'm terrified of what the tags could end up as. I almost wish that there was some way of making the algorithm understand what is truly being discussed, because tags aren't it. And yet, in a
yeah.
different way, if people don't use tags, the algorithm doesn't work at all. I think that there's a fundamental problem with the system of how YouTube works. And I don't know what the answer to that is. I do
See, for
understand
me,
people.
sorry, Pearl.
No, carry on.
I was going to say, for me personally, I feel like TB expressed that she was like let down by me. I don't understand the alleged little slight she took about me and Jay deserve each other. I guess I don't know. I have to listen to the context before it around. I'm just hearing that was stated. I don't understand where all that came from. I
I
think
did hear her say that, and I must admit that I've had the joy of avoiding the whole mess that appears to be Jay. I don't know anything about her. I've just avoided because, like, from the get-go, there was sort of a whole lawsuit and controversy going on. And I was just like, oh, I don't know whether I even want to get involved in understanding what any of that is. It's not a great wording, it has to be said. I feel with that, as I feel about the whole collective thing, just because you're friendly with a particular channel, it doesn't mean that you all co-sign each other. I said in a comment earlier, I don't even agree 100% with all the rest of the jerks. I certainly don't
yeah, but
agree
it's not
100%
even.
with anybody else.
So your argument would basically be like, just because Granny associates with Queen, you shouldn't be holding Granny guilty for being associated with her. Is that correct?
I would absolutely agree with that. Absolutely agree with that.
Yeah, and I
No
think
problem whatsoever.
I don't even think it was it was the whole they deserve each other like that. If she feels that disgusted by Jay, then she feels that disgusted by me, which is really fucking ironic. Is all I'll say about that. I don't,
And
I don't
anyone that
understand
thinks that
it.
you're guilty by association is flawed thinking, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, no, it's absolutely incorrect. That would be as ridiculous as saying that I'm responsible for anything that Ziggy does, because for a short time I was a mod there.
Right. Well, luckily
just doesn't-
Ziggy, no one watches Ziggy because she's fucking boring and a dummy. But I mean,
Queen Bee, I never accused you of saying that I had anything to do with TPE's video. I was talking about commenting nonsense, and I was talking about the perception that when you call a group a collective, it makes it sound as if you are all intimately involved with each other's work. I was talking about the implication of what he said, not the statement.
I'm gonna pull up the Oxford Dictionary for collective. We gotta get that down.
I
Oh,
thought
no.
it meant that you all just came from the same group, the same
No, it
area.
doesn't.
Is what I thought. That's the way I took it.
Okay, it says done or shared by all members of a group of people involving a whole group or
Exactly.
society. Okay, so we're staunchly against the word collective. What would you use instead?
Friends. Why is friends such a controversial concept?
Okay, you're friends. Okay, all right, I'll use friends. Collective is wrong. Use friends.
Because I think what Pearl's saying
Which is
is
exactly my point. Unfortunately, I find the way that words are used is very important, because you do give off a perception when you use certain words. And collective is one of those. Collective enterprise is even used in legal terms for when somebody is involved on the periphery of a crime. It's a very specific term. That's all I'm saying. But I mostly wanted to talk about the whole hashtag thing. I don't want to get involved in the sidetrack. I just wanted to make that clear before I started on to something else. I do think that a conversation would have been more helpful. It would be interesting to see if a conversation can happen now. Unfortunately, I don't think it's going to. I think that people have been upset.
good. We feel insulted.
And the problem is Granny has an open
Yes.
panel. We all were able to jump up here, and TPE still hasn't come up. Queen Bee's gonna have an open panel about this, I'm sure, at some point.
Oh, I'm
and
sure.
I'm sure she won't jump up there either. So,
She will.
you know, how are we supposed to have a conversation about this? I really honestly, and I like TPE. I think her heart is in the right place, because back in
Agreed.
the beginning, when we started calling out tragedy pimps, like the Glairer and Burnt Toast and all them, even before I started my channel, it was one of the things that we were calling out was that they were hashtagging or tagging victims and victims' families in their videos. But the point is that they were tagging them because MGL's calling them calling Summer Wells a cash cow, and that's how they felt about it, and that's why they were tagging it. Now, the intent of tagging the victims is not for them, and a lot of people are not for to draw money in. It's to draw awareness. It's to draw people in to see that the misinformation is being put out there. I'm not saying that all these creators don't want to make money, because they do. That's why people are on YouTube. And that's never been a problem with me with the tragedy pimps, that they make money. It's how they make the money. And when you're coming up here and saying all this misinformation, I don't have a problem with a creator coming up and tagging somebody's name in it and making money off that stream if they're putting out the correct information. But when they're out there saying all this and that about Chris and Katie, saying that they're doing these bad things, that her whatever bag from the Navy was missing, so she must have buried them. I mean, come on. That is not a way that people should be making money.
I mean, the point of a live stream is, with these live streams, is to get people who are basically unaware of the bad behaviors from these channels and let them be educated. And my hope is that, because that actually fills me with a lot of hope when I hear, like, oh, I used to be someone that loved T-Rep, but now that you showed me that he was faking a call and doing all these shenanigans, you know what, now, and then what happens is there's a pipeline. People go on the live stream and then they get interested in that subject and they type in that name and they say, oh, look, so-and-so did a clip on this person, and they have like the whole history of this person, and they go to that. It's a pipeline of trying to kind of deprogram people from this bullshit of misinformation. Just like if you were like, I'm sure people who went on your panel, Pearl, watched your panel about Ziggy, have no clue about Ziggy, watched your panel and said, wow, who's this fucking idiot who walking her dog and who's called Ziggy Bones? And then they Google, they basically put on YouTube Ziggy Bones or Ziggy, and they basically look her up and they find, oh, she did this, this, and this. What a piece of shit! I shouldn't watch this piece of shit. And they get enlightened on that. It's as simple as that. But you
And
can't.
I've often heard Chasing before in the past say that she's afraid to hashtag or tag victims in her videos because of everybody calling out the tragedy pimps, the real
Yeah.
tragedy pimps. And she's a person who normally sticks with the facts, tells about the case, tries to be an advocate for these victims, and most of her videos, and everybody knows her as such. So why should she be afraid to tag them in there? She shouldn't be.
I'll just answer Irish badass. I go after men as well. Look at my coverage of Turtle Boy. He's a scumbag. And the Glitter.
Right.
And Dolly.
Right. It's just that this is prominently women, so it looks like you're probably going after women a lot.
Yeah,
But
unfortunately.
Tim does not just go after women. It's just there's a lack of men in this community.
Oh, and Blue Gumball. Don't forget the Blue Gumball.
Right. So yeah, I mean, we shouldn't be afraid to tag people in our videos. It's how you're putting the information out there. Are you putting misinformation? Then no, you should not be tagging Sebastian Rogers in your videos, and that's what's wrong. But it's getting confused here, and everybody thinks that we're a hypocrite because we're tagging Sebastian Rogers in the video and we're putting out that this is misinformation, this is the correct information, and that's okay. It's the people that are putting the misinformation and tagging his name in it. That's what's wrong, and that's what's getting confused.
Would you agree sometimes, though, Cheesy, that some people don't think they're giving misinformation?
Well, and that's the problem because they're not doing the research, and they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing. I mean, as a creator, I come on here, and the people that don't know YouTube very well, they think they can come on here and get all this information. I mean, YouTube has always been a place, hey, if you want to find out what to do something or how to do something, go on YouTube. Somebody's on there teaching you about it. So that's what YouTube has always been. And so when some of these people who don't really know YouTube as well as some of us do, they come on here thinking, oh, I'm going to listen to Bullhorn Betty. She seems to know her shit. Well, I'm going to listen to everything she has to say. And just think of the nasty things that she says about these victims and their families. And she's putting out all this misinformation. Or like TikTok Tony, he's on Seth's side. Everybody sees him as Seth's right-hand man. So of course you want to believe what Tony has to say, right? But he put out that misinformation with that call from that Amber Alert, that fake Amber Alert,
Right.
and everybody thought we're looking for a car,
Which is why I tagged Sebastian in that stream, because I felt that was important to his case. And,
right.
If others view that as wrong, that's fine. That's on them. I do think that TP's criticism of me was fair, but I also think to not acknowledge the post I made where I acknowledged the same thing she was acknowledging was unfair. And then to throw that jab in about me and Jay deserve each other, that's where it got personal for me, because I can take constructive criticism. What I can't take is little slight jabs at me on a personal level.
Right. Right. And now you, Queen Bee, me, I mean, I'm not in that group, but me, somebody like Chasing Truth, even Deets on the Streets, we're all creators that if you came to us and said, hey, you put this misinformation about Sebastian Rogers out there, you need to correct it, we would go, oh my God, and research and make sure, and Nonsense, she's also one, and Duchess. If somebody came to us and said that, we would go and find out, hey, did we put out that misinformation? And we would research it and see if we did. And if we actually did put out misinformation, we would be immediately correct it and say, hey, I was wrong. Let me put out the right information. So, I mean, yes, we could be putting out misinformation from time to time, not knowing it. But if you go and somebody comes and calls us out on it and we correct it, but if you go to Bullhorn Betty or Dolly or any of them and you say, hey, this is misinformation, they'll call you every name in the book, and they'll block you from their channel, and nope, I am not going to correct it, and blah blah blah. So I mean, there's a difference there too. you know?
I mean, she's still going with that whole there's two flashlights in the video. And it's like, watch not glare. I mean, the Gray Hughes' video, he explains that is not the case. I always direct people, if you want to go over a legitimate true crime channel, Gray, Duty Ron, Grizzly True Crime. I mean, like, these are legitimate channels you can go to if you just want true crime. Icamel, like them. If you want to watch true crime or a court case or a freaking car chase, you can go to him. I mean, there's plenty of channels that just pretty much cover just true crime. You can just go there.
I think part of the issue is calling out anybody at all, because like I said, it's a thin line and you eventually cross it without realizing it. And I just think YouTube would be a happier place if we stopped placing labels, right? Like we're labeling them tragedy pimps and we're saying this is misinformation, but they full-heartedly believe their information just like we believe what we've been told, right? So it's like, it's just that very thin line that I keep mentioning. And I think that's part of the huge problem, because you know, you do eventually become the monster that you're calling out, right? It happens. I don't think any of us have handled any of this correctly. I do think a lot of the hashtags are overboard. I do think we've all titled something wrongly or threw up Sebastian's face when we shouldn't have and whatever, and we can all learn to do better. But I don't think we learn to do better by dividing what is being labeled a community, right? Because she said this is a community issue, tagged all these people. Some of them I don't even know, and I don't even understand why they were tagged. So to me, it didn't feel like it was a community issue to be addressed more than it was an issue to divide.
Well, I mean, I think
like
there's a difference between like your personal opinions and then the actual, community
facts.
issue. Yeah,
right.
That's basically it. And everyone's welcome to make commentary. You can make a video on anyone, and I wholeheartedly think it's good. The main difference is that I will reply to your video, but I will leave you alone in your personal life. I will not be looking you up. I don't give a fuck about your personal life, to be honest.
Right.
That's not to be offensive. I just don't care. I will never fucking care about looking up your personal information because that's just weirdo shit. I think you should just focus on just the commentary. And honestly, that's what this platform was made for. It was made for replies. That's the first, besides the zoo video, the first zoo video. But the first thing about this platform is replying to each person. And TP is welcome to her opinion, and she's welcome, but people will reply, and she'll reply, and the conversation will take place. And the audience will decide in which is the case. Maybe some people will change their behaviors, some people won't. But that's how it goes. It is what it is.
Right.
But I do have to wonder, does she not think that her friends' opinions or I guess their content's okay because they didn't do the tags? I don't know. Like I said, I would think content matters more than tags.
I mean, would you be okay with a Brittany J stream with Seth and Uncle Taco if they remove the tags?
Right.
No. That would not, especially when they got into that weird subject. Don't really like repeating.
Right. I mean, or I guess it's okay to call out the father. Like, all right, yeah, I did call him obese, and that was in regards to him not going and, sending Katie joined the Navy, and they were saying she abandoned her child, didn't bond with him, whatever. And I said, he probably didn't because he was obese. And I feel like that's a fact. I mean, you can see him that he's obese, but people took that as a personal insult. My thumbnail, I admit it myself, it probably wasn't in the best taste. It was a low blow, but I feel like Seth is a low down person. I feel like he's abusive, right? So I can justify why I feel how I feel, just as these people can justify why they feel how they feel. Right.
Yeah, I mean, I my opinion is if Seth stops supporting the harassment of his ex-wife, and basically, like, to me, that was such an outrageous thing to send a super chat, a $50 super chat with Tony Mathis saying, we fully support you harassing my ex-wife, even though you have 3 TPOs on you, to me is an outrageous thing. If he just basically did if he just basically started a channel and talked about his kid and maybe had an opinion, fine, but you are supporting the open harassment of your ex-wife who has not been arrested, has not been charged or anything like that. And I wouldn't care, I just think that's an outrageous situation.
Right. And like Metal Block saying the thumbnail didn't help anyone. No, it didn't. But I'd be lying if I didn't say it felt good to make it. Like I found it, therapeutic, and that's how I view them. I'm sorry if others don't. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
But I'm not saying like, oh, it's okay, I did that. But I also don't think just because you're a victim of a crime I mean, some could argue Casey Anthony's a victim of crime, right? She was never prosecuted. You know what I mean? So like it all comes down to perspective, opinion, and I think all of us are just doing what we can based off our perspective and our opinions, and which is why I don't participate anymore in calling out tragedy pimps or going over people's streams and saying why they're wrong for saying this and for doing that, because I don't feel like I have the moral standing to do that. And
I am
don't
not
think
her. Okay, this person here. I mean, I don't feel like doing a law, but she says, "Wow, do you see
I
how
can see
Beaton will twist to explain while he's harassing the father of a missing child?" I am not harassing the father. I am not going into his real life. I am not calling his job. I am not messing it. He goes online and he says something, and then I have an opinion on that. That is basically it. So,
Right.
like, you can say if that's harassment, then everyone's being harassed on this platform. That means Pearl's harassing Ziggy. That's not a case. Pearl is not harassing Ziggy. Probably just has the commentary on Ziggy. It's not harassment when you openly talk about the bad behaviors of people online. Just simple as that. Don't know why, but that's just how it is. That's like me saying, Savage is harassing Dolly by making commentary on his shitty live streams. That's not the case. It's just how it is.
I
No,
have to say
harassment.
that I don't have a problem with anybody having a problem with my opinion. But what I would say is that when Queen mentions about me saying that I'm ill, or when Tiffany goes in on me for being in a wheelchair, yeah, I have the misfortune to have a life-limiting genetic illness. I'm not going to cry if you have a dig, but I will say that if you dig at me about it, it says more about you than it says about me. But anything that's my opinion, fair game, go on.
Mm-hmm. Well, I didn't mention about your wheelchair, so I mean, I don't know about that wheelchair. I think that's wrong to mention about your wheelchair. Don't go that way.
And
Anyway.
Tiffany, if you're listening, my bottom is sparkling clean today. You'll be glad to know. I know she worries so much, and I just want to put her mind at rest.
Unfortunately, she worries about a lot of people's undergarments. I don't care what you wear with your undergarments. To be honest with you, I don't care.
I've got to step down because time is ticking on over here. Because obviously, you know, we're hours ahead, and there's stuff that I've got to get ready before people start coming in and wanting food. But thank you for letting me up. I'm sorry that it got argumentative at the start, but I find the whole sort of, you know, that people can share an opinion without sharing a mindset.
Okay, you're not a collective.
I do agree as well, Granny, that the whole "you deserve each other" thing was unnecessary. TPE, I love you. I kind of see what you were trying to get at. Don't think that it works. I think that if there's got to be a conversation, it's got to be a conversation on an open panel with all views. And even then, I don't think there's going to be a conclusion.
Mm-hmm. By the way, you're up next. There's literally a screenshot of the $50 super chat.
Hashtag with good intentions and bad. How do we judge what motives people use things for? And also on live streams, people change conversation midway through. Then what do? Do you abandon all the tags? Do you add all the tags? Some people default to a whole set of tags. I just don't really know what the answer is. But I do think that she came out of it from a point of view of wanting to consider it. I just don't think that it was well prepared.
Yeah.
And I don't think it landed. And now people are in their feelings about it.
Yeah.
Which I understand. I do understand.
I could handle the criticism if I felt that she did it fairly, and I don't think it was fair. And then the personal jab was, okay. It's like if I was like, well, you deserve Ziggy. Like, what does that even mean? You know what I mean? Like, you despise Jane. You're saying I deserve her. I like Jane.
I don't think you went and planted evidence with like chicken bones and try to say that there were Summerwell's bones. Like
right. Like I felt like that was very personal, and I don't know where that came from. And I'm sorry, Pearl, that you felt like you were being lumped into it. I understand where she is coming from. I do, but I do wonder if the motive was to educate and bring awareness and to actually open dialogue, or if it was to cause division, get people hyped up and say, hey, I'm doing what you guys want me to do. Because I know without a doubt there was a vibe change a few weeks ago, and there is a split right now, and there is a divide, and there are people that think they're fucking better than everyone. And they've made that announcement very loud and clear. But I could go through each of their content and point out how you're just like me, minus the hashtags. Congratulations.
I do think that she came at it from the right place, and her heart was in the right place. But I also know, as we all do, when you start going off on a topic, where you started with your intention and where you end up, can be two very different things, and you'll say something. It may even be that on reflection she realizes that she did not mean to be as jabby as she was. I don't know. I haven't had a chance to talk to her yet today.
Well, also the
but,
inflection, the inflection of the voice, fact of the voice actually adds
yeah,
to it.
sometimes that is just your accent. I mean,
You know, it's just like
I
if
am
someone,
always going to sound condescending because I'm English and we sound condescending. Sometimes I am being condescending. Sometimes I've just got an accent.
it's just like the saying, like if someone says "f you" and laughing, it's a joke.
Oh,
But
yeah,
if someone
no, I
says
agree
"f
with
you"
that.
while
I agree.
angry at you, then you know it's not a joke, and it's just how
Yeah,
it is.
I agree with that.
So, I mean, I think it's the affect of the situation. But I have to go. By the way, Granny, I'll see you.
Thank
Oh,
you,
we're both
Peter.
looking down at the same time. But thank you. I do,
You're
even
welcome.
in the argumentative moments, I appreciate the fact that we're discussing this. And I would say that I hope that there can be a discussion. I just don't have much hope for it. But thank you. I'll catch
Girl,
you later.
I would love to have a discussion with her, rather that be privately, publicly. I'm open to a discussion with her. I think it still can be had. But I do think at the same time, people have to be honest that they are now that they are judging based off who associates with who. And I think until that air is cleared, I think that these tensions are going to build until there's an explosion. And I feel the explosion coming because of the underlining, not acknowledging the fact that I have resentments towards you because you're now okay with this person, and this person apparently did X, Y, and Z to me. And, or I don't know. I mean, it's been going on for a while. Like I said, there's little jabs and chats that,
That has been all over this sector, and I really do
yeah,
not know
it's very
what the
uncomfortable, isn't
solution
it,
to
Pearl?
that is, because I mean, it's a fact of life. People are doing that, and that's certainly something that I feel that we're experiencing as well. Sometimes it's justified, sometimes it's not. Like I
Yeah.
said, I am open to anybody having an opinion on my opinions. Certainly, Linny down there in the chat, she's got a lot to say about us. It'd be nice if she actually addressed us once in a while. But yeah, take me on my opinions all day. You can mock my illness all day. I won't cry about it. But like I said, I will have a low opinion of you about it. I can take a joke. Jonesin will tell you quite often, to the point where people would like me to stop making a joke.
I've heard you make jokes about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
If anybody, is Janice an
You have
accountant?
to,
A real.
because otherwise people will just weaponize it against you, and I'm not going to be anybody's victim. It is what it is. I'm a sick
Do you know
lady.
a Janice an accountant? Pearl or
sorry?
Cheesy? Do either of you know Janice an accountant? Is that a
No.
real account?
I've seen her in chats, but I don't know her well.
All right, let's.
No.
Janice, are you real?
Yeah.
Okay. Hello.
I've
I'm
really
part-
got to go. I'm sorry. Hello and goodbye, Janice.
Thank
you,
you,
Janice.
girl. Yeah, Jones, and I do feel like there's been a divide. I'm not even comfortable going in chats that I once fully supported and I thought supported me. Matter of fact, it was kind of solidified for me when I was blocked in your chat, if I'm being 100% honest. So, I don't, I maybe call me intuitive, but I can feel people's vibes, and I know there's an underlying tone right now, and I know that I know who talks to who in Discord, and I know who's feeling what, and I know who's hyping up who, and I've expressed it to one particular creator before. I know when the vibe changed. I know who came around. I know who started it. I was blocked in Jonesins, yes, and that kind of solidified that was my yep. I know it. There's something going on. You can sense it. You can feel it. Put a 1 in the chat if any of you feel it. Have you felt it, Cheesy? Maybe you're not in the same little. That's weird because
I think I have seen a divide a little bit with everybody. Yeah, because I'm not in the clique so much as everybody else. But I'm on the outside looking in kind of spot, and yeah, I have seen quite a bit of a divide.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. I thought I was
I-
blocked, but it may have been a YouTube glitch. But I had to go into a backup and tell Jones and hey, I can't comment here. I've been commenting. It looks like I'm blocked. It may have been a YouTube glitch, but I felt like it was a block. So others do sense it. You guys feel it. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I sense it.
So I'm not alone. Hey, Janice.
Hi. Can you hear me?
We can, yes.
Okay. I think that there is a very like a lack of understanding of SEO and how hashtags and words in the description can affect whether a video performs or gets in the algorithm or not. And while I can appreciate and understand her sentiments from the video last night, I feel that if you want to combat the misinformation, disinformation, and just the harassment alone of uh, parents and victims, you're going to have to use SEO, and that means using hashtags. Any major large YouTuber is going to use hashtags, and even on Etsy and even in like Amazon, they're using SEO and words and stuff to pull high in the search engine. And so, unfortunately, there's no way with the current system to combat that. I mean, you can lessen it. And I also think that there's a big difference between somebody like Betty, who hashtags not only the current case that she's doing, all the previous cases that she's doing. And not only is it one hashtag, it's 15 of the same name. And I think there's a difference there. But I mean, if you don't put any hashtags in there, you guys will never get these videos to perform.
Right.
Right.
Nobody will see them.
That's what I said. How are you supposed to reach the audience you're looking to reach if, but then again, who decided that hashtags are taboo? Who decided that tag in the case that you're discussing is taboo? And then it's like, okay, it's not. It's only if you're adding drama to it. But again, this case is mainly being spoken about still because of all the drama, right? So
Right.
it's like, you
I
can't.
think if you're clear right up front, like, obviously I'm part of non-census community, but she clearly up front says this is going to be a drama stream.
Right.
This is going to be, whatever. And I think if you're clear up front as to what this is going to pertain to and keep, the chat on that path, and not turn it into drama when you're not doing drama, then why can't you? And I am of the belief that the parents should be hashtagged, especially Seth, since he is causing the majority of the drama that is involved in this disappearance.
Right.
But
No, it's
also, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I just really think that some people don't understand the search engine optimization that you have to do to get your videos or it applies to Instagram, TikTok, Etsy. If you're not putting hashtags or what tags, I don't know if they're hashtags or tags, or if you're not putting certain words in your description, then the people that you're trying to combat information will never see it. And so
Right.
that's against everything you guys are trying to, you're trying to get more people to see your side of things. So I think hashtags are important.
That's why they're there, right?
Yeah.
Well, and I've
Right.
done that where I made the hashtag and then I turn around and said, you know what, the stream went off course. So I changed the title, changed the thumbnail, changed the tag. I could have kept it there, which is why I think intentions matter more. The intentions, the vibe of the stream, the context of the stream matters more than the hashtags. But I guess there are people that disagree with that, and that's okay. They're allowed to disagree with that.
But I also too think that that anybody that has a decent following, and I can assume that you have the same, those that are closest to you or are good supporters of you are going to call you when you step across that line. And so I think that, I definitely feel some kind of way about the fact that she put you guys in the same video with next to, JLR, Ziggy, Dolly, I think that if she wanted to make this conversation or start a conversation, which there was none, if she wanted to do that, she should have separated it, because she totally lumped everybody that's trying to fight against what these people are doing. She put you guys all in the same category, and I think that that's unfair.
Which is fine if she wanted to do that, but then offer what you think would be a better way, right? Offer, like, there's no solution given. There was no like, hey, I think this is wrong, so maybe you could do it this way, which is why I don't think it was done to have a discussion or whatever. I think it was done with intent. So that sucks. You know what I mean? I actually really enjoyed her. I did. I promoted her. I thought I would, she came in here and I was talking about Siggy. She gave me information about Siggy. Like, I thought we were kind of cordial. Now I understand her friends don't like me, and I understand, whatever, but I don't know. That's why I agree with her up until the whole jab about me and Jay. That's where I was lost. That's where I was like, okay, this is now personal.
But
Your criticism was fair, but this is personal.
yeah,
Yeah, I don't
and,
blame you for taking it that way.
and I think that us in non-cis community felt that it was personal too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that I don't think that you can put you guys on the same playing field as the JLRs and everything like that. Like, I think there's a big distinction. And I think to lump you guys all into is just, a lower level tragedy pimp, which that word is ridiculous anyways. But, it's, I don't think it was fair.
No, and like I said, I acknowledged everything she acknowledged. I acknowledged myself. I had the self-awareness to acknowledge it myself. So to come out, what I deem to be months later in YouTube time and like acknowledge that now, it's like, well, you could have slid in where I acknowledged it myself, but that wasn't your intent, right? That the intent wasn't to do that. The intent was to say, you guys are all wrong. You're up and coming tragedy pimps. I have a better solution. I'm not going to offer. I'm going to tell my audience I disagree with all of you because I feel like they need to know. So now they can disagree with you, and we're just going to do it how we do it. That's how I took it. Especially when she said, like, I want my audience and my subscribers and my members to know I'm not okay with Granny's content. It's like, okay, well, now I want mine to know I'm not okay with yours. Like, what? It just seemed petty at that point. Didn't seem like it was genuine.
And the thing is that, like, I listen to you in the mornings when I'm getting ready for work, but I'm, in nonsense, but we have these conversations all the time. And if she was really listening, she would know that you said, I've crossed the line. Even Nonsense came out and said, I don't know, weeks ago, that she may have crossed the line a little bit with Seth and that she was no longer going to do that. And these are open conversations that we have in the chat, when she does go live. And I think that you have the same thing. And I think that none of that was, that context was left out of the picture. And I think it was intentional.
That's what I'm saying. Like, to act like we don't have self-awareness that what others label these tragedy pimps to be, which they do. They don't have self-awareness, right? We've acknowledged that, yes, we kind of we fell off the line a little bit. We got too passionate. We got too involved. I've certainly acknowledged that. So I don't know. I mean, I guess it's down to us now to decide: do we take what she said as constructive criticism and aim to do better? Or do we kind of just, I feel like most of us, if I'm just being honest, kind of feel like fuck you about it because the way it went about, instead of being constructive, it felt very personal, which I guess maybe the deliverance that Pearl was talking about. Because unfortunately, it could have been a really good discussion and it could have led to something and it could have reached people in a different way if it was approached in a different manner, which why I wonder what the intent was, right? Like, was the intent ever to have a discussion or just to light a fire and walk away? Right.
Well, either way, it is creating a discussion because look how many people are live this morning, regardless.
Yeah, but it's not the discussion that was wanted.
No, but like, I think we could take it, like, I'm not a creator, obviously. I come into chats and I talk and I conversate, and I think for the most part I'm very respectful of everybody. But I think that all of us can take it in two senses, but I think when somebody, like, there's nothing wrong with a hashtag. You're gonna reach creators or other creators, other people that way. but when you're writing a name, like I've seen some videos where his name is written like 8 different ways, and I'm like, that's a little overboard. Like, I
Right.
do pay attention to hashtags, but then when there's certain hashtags, I don't, I will not watch that video. Like, if it's worded a certain way, nope.
Oh, that's interesting. I don't look at hashtags. I maybe I should, but I
I
don't.
don't either.
But I
Yeah.
did go, my education background, even though I do not use it, my education background is in criminal justice. I have 2 bachelors. I went to ASU in Arizona, but I definitely I couldn't imagine. I had this comment earlier. I don't know if it got lost, but can you imagine if this happened back during JonBenet Ramsey trial? Like, can
I
you
feel like it
imagine?
kind of did.
But like, yes, the public was on them, but it wasn't to the degree that we have now with social media.
Right. Yeah, I mean this is part of social media. This is part of what's going to happen, and I
Yeah.
just I intentionally stayed away from keeping people's content because of this, because I do feel like there are people that think they're doing the right thing and they're not, or they're doing it overboard, or you're trying to sound like the moral superiority, but you're not really morally up to code either. So I've stayed away from that. I've learned
And
from that.
and part of me worries because I have family in Hendersonville. Like, my nieces and nephews go to school there.
Yeah.
And so when I first saw this, I was like, oh shit. And I like call, it's a relative in a certain way, but I called them and I'm like, hey, and they're like, yeah, we're keeping an eye on the kids. We don't, the cops haven't told us one way or another if the community's safe, if they think it's one way or another. And so, for the first couple months, like, I was worried. Like, not that I'm not worried about Sebastian, but like when your family's there, it hits a little closer to home.
Right.
Well, I
There
appreciate.
was a sorry to interrupt. There was a trial. The parents did have a trial to go through, and they were found uh non guilty.
Yeah.
There was a trial.
You know what? I think it basically comes down to personal preference. I said this in the chat a while ago, and I'll say it again. I stopped worrying because there is such a hoverance of, the moral superiority that kind of oversee everything. And, I was worrying, will this hashtag be okay? Will this title be okay? Will this thumbnail be okay? I don't give a shit anymore. If you want to call me out for it, call me out for it. I'm going to do my content. I'm going to do it the way I feel is best. I'm going to continue to try to maintain, my self-awareness. When I felt I was going too far, I corrected myself and I stopped, and I'm going to continue to go about it that way. If that makes people disappointed in me, if they think that means I deserve somebody that they see as despicable, then so be it. But
Yeah.
I'm not out here to make everybody happy. I have my members, my subscribers, my daily chatters, and I appreciate all of you. And those of you that are so disappointed in me, you stopped coming around. Well, I'm sorry. Yeah, I don't know what else to tell you. I just, maybe I wasn't a channel for you. Maybe I didn't live up to your expectations. I'll go as far as to say some of you didn't live up to mine either. So can't we
Well-
just say, like, it was nice meeting you, good luck, best wishes? Does it have to become pitchforks and everything?
Well, and
There's a
I'll
lot
be
worse out
honest.
here than
Go
you,
ahead.
Granny.
I agree with that, Cheesy. There's a hell of a lot worse.
Well, and Granny, I'll be completely honest. You know how I first heard about you, and I wasn't sure about you in the beginning because I heard your name being brought on Brittany J's, and I was
Yep.
like, but I gave you a chance because I do believe in that. I'm like, maybe I'll like her content better because right now I don't like Brittany. And at that given point, and I was like, I don't like Brittany, so let's see what this person has to offer.
And here you are. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Because I'll be honest, like in the beginning, I'm like, let's just see. But the way you were put across in that chat, I was like, God, like, what did this woman do?
Yeah, I'm tired of, that's what I just said earlier. I'm tired of being labeled like this devil, this big scarlet letter, like this big horrible person. I'm just because everybody else's history is not being repeated 10 times a day by 10 obsessive channels doesn't mean none of you have done shit. And like, I'm not going to keep apologizing. And like, there's times where like, I literally feel like, and that's why I said it's nonsense, because she does it to me a lot, where I feel like I'm like the evil stepchild, like, oh, I'm not associated with Granny. I'm not associated with Granny. And it's like, the fuck? Like, I'm not I'm not a horrible person. And just because these people want to paint it that way, it felt very icky. So I'm glad I could express that to her and tell her, like, that's why I wasn't subbed. I'm not the cause for everybody that calls you out. It's not always related back to me. I'm not this big horrible monster. I'm no worse than what many of these people are currently doing to me. I'm reactive, and I've lost my shit sometimes. But I'm not going real life. I'm not harming children. I'm not killing pets. I'm not doing anything that I have to walk around with this scarlet letter and screaming sorry from the rooftop every day. I'm not doing it no more.
Well, and I've heard you apologize. So it's like, you're like, okay, I crossed the line here. Like,
right.
I apologize. I think I went too far with this, that, or the other.
That's all we can do.
If I harmed anyone, I will correct my behavior in the future. Like, and that, as adults, that's what we try to strive to do with our children.
Yeah.
I do want to say something about association. Now, I didn't watch Queen Bee for a long time because Laura was on her chat. I can't stand Laura. I didn't watch Granny for a long time because I thought she was associated with Laura. I think Laura's stupid. In my opinion, I don't care for her. Right. And so there was a lot of people that I didn't watch because I thought they were associated with her, and I thought that they aligned with her, and I found out that, you know, it's Queen Bee's open panel. She had Laura up there. I don't think she aligned with her per se, and so, you know, I don't think people need to stop. I'm sorry, I got a plane going over. People need to stop thinking everybody aligns with each other because they go into each other's chats or whatever. I watch a lot of various different channels that people don't, that I like, that people don't, that they don't like, and
but
it
that's
shouldn't
the
matter.
beauty of it.
You know,
That's the beauty of it. All you
we can
have
do
to
what we
do
want.
is scroll. The beauty of it is we can all scroll. We do not have to.
But I mean, that sounds like the beauty of it, but it's not. We do get judged on that. Like I said, I felt a group of people that I thought I was friendly with. I felt them slide away from me when I started chatting back in Queens. I mean, I'm not going to act like it didn't happen. It did. And it felt like it was like, oh, well, you know, and that's why I say to people, if you only come in my chat, like if you're only here because I was talking bad about Siggy, if you're only here because I had a fight with Queen, then you're not here for me anyway. So just go ahead. Oh, sorry, Jameson. Thank you. You know what I mean? I have plenty of people.
Do I always agree with what Granny says? Do I always agree with what Queen Bee says? No. But that doesn't mean I'm going to stop watching them just because I don't agree with everything they say.
Right. I don't even agree with myself. A lot of times I'll end a stream and be like, fuck, I shouldn't have said that. I should have done that. Again, these just roll, you know, it's not scripted. I'm a regular person up here speaking. There's going to be times I get overly angry. There's going to be times where I get goofy. There's going to, you know, we're humans. And I think it is, I don't know. I've never treated people differently because of who I've seen them associated with, whether I like them or not. And I don't think it's fair. Thank you, Gina.
Right.
Thank you so much. But it did happen, and I'm not going to keep pretending it didn't. I know TPE said that's why you lost a lot of us. I disagree. I don't think that's why I lost a lot of you. I think it was a whole different situation because a lot of you were doing the same damn thing as me. You just because you title it a little bit differently or you left out the hashtag doesn't make you better than me.
Right.
So yeah, it you know, hopefully TPE will be open to a discussion and the community, you know, that she says she wanted a discussion with, she'll offer that chance to have it. And if not, I guess we'll all just take away our own personal feels from it, which I think a lot of us agree right now is kind of like F you for how you did it.
Yeah.
I remember back in the Quentin Simon case. Now, I do a lot of Betty content, okay? And, excuse me. And so when Quentin Simon, I made a little video about, you know, remember Quentin Simon or whatever. And it was just a little video about him because he was getting lost in all the BS that Dolly and Betty were doing down there. And I wanted to hashtag Quentin, but I felt bad doing it because I was like, well, is anybody going to call me out because I call out Betty and should I not be hashtagging him in it? But no, it was a video about Quentin Simon and I wanted people to see it, you know, who were looking for Quentin Simon content, you know? So I did hashtag him in there. And I think that was okay. You know, if you are talking about the person you need to hashtag them. Now, when I'm doing Betty content, I don't hashtag Sebastian Rogers or whatever case she's on, but maybe I should though, because I'm putting out that she's doing this BS in the Sebastian Rogers case. So maybe I should be hashtagging Sebastian Rogers, but I'm afraid to, because am I going to get called out like everybody else? You know, we just need to do our own thing and do what morally we think is right. I mean, we often see a lot of people like Betty used cayenne pepper to train her dog, and everybody was just flabbergasted by that.
Right.
And I've put pepper, not cayenne pepper, but I've put pepper on my garbage can to keep the dog out of the garbage. And they start sneezing and they learn not to go to the garbage. A vet actually told me to do that because I was having a problem with it. The dog was over a year old and still getting in my garbage. You know, the vet says put pepper on it, you know?
Right.
And so I wasn't flabbergasted by what Bullhorn Betty did. That's one thing I didn't disagree with.
But Cheesy,
You know?
I have to ask you, do you think people are flabbergasted, or at that point they're nitpicking every single thing that woman does?
Yeah.
Exactly. And I started doing that with Betty. I know I found myself doing that, and I've kind of stepped back at making videos about her because I started myself nitpicking every little thing that she did. And it was like, wait a minute, now I can't be like that. I mean, look at the little things I do that people could nitpick that I do. You know?
Well, and that's the fact that once you dislike somebody, everything they do you see as a negative, right? Like every little thing, the way that the meme, the way that look at the bitch, the way she's eating those chips, that is true. And people do that, and they get too far in doing so. And that does absolutely happen. And I mean, did she spray the dog? Like that's the things that people want to know. And it's like, why though? With utmost respect, why?
Right.
You know, I see people saying, oh, people need to call animal control. She's a danger for that puppy. And, you know, you let your hate get that far. I don't think it's a healthy thing. So when I see some of these people that claim to be on the moral standing participate in some of this shit, and some of these chats and some of these places, I don't think you have that moral authority to judge me. You're no different, no better. I might cover a missing child or tragedy or whatever you may call it, but you're actively participating in the invasion of somebody's life. You're no better. Yeah. You're no better, period.
Right. I often say, you know, my kids, they didn't need to be spanked because they knew they would. They would get it, you know, and people think that that's horrible, that my kids had to fear me, you know, blah, blah, blah. And my kids will often say, yeah, my mom would count to 3 and we never let her get to 3. And they're like, well, what would happen when she got to 3? And my kids were like, well, I don't really know. We never found out, you know,
just give the look.
But I had that. And so my kids behaved in public. So that worked for me. That parenting style worked for me. I could count on one hand how many times I spanked my children because I didn't have to. Because they knew I would. And that's what I say, you know, I mean.
And you'd be judged for that. I mean, yeah.
And I'm judged for that. Yes.
It is absolutely crazy. That's why I a while back, I stopped the whole calling out tragedy pimp thing. There were many times I hate to admit, but I even agreed with Brittany J on some things. I don't think any of us have the right. You know, we can go live and say like, hey, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong. But at the same time, be careful with how you do it because you too become wrong in that. I wish we would all just do our personal content, whatever, you know, and maybe that's because I felt the way you felt, Cheesy. There's many times I say to my one mod, they're going to tear me apart because I'm tagging Sebastian. But for me, I feel it's important to Sebastian's name in case that this gets clarified, right? But I knew there's that overlook, you know, the better than people are looking down on me. And I don't want to walk on eggshells every day to see who's going to be next to join the bandwagon against me. And, you know, people send me clips and I'm like, is it about me? Like you just get to a point where it's like, I don't want to see it or do it anymore. I'm tired of walking on eggshells. I'm going to do me. And if you're disappointed in me, I apologize. But trust and believe I have self-awareness and I have amazing people around me that are going to tell me if I cross the line, just like I made myself aware when it came to Sebastian a few weeks back, TPE, which you forgot from the video. You forgot that part. It's annoying. It's just, I think none of us are better than anybody to call out anybody, honestly. And I get tired of it. I get tired of the preaching of how, you know, we're better, but we're doing the same thing. And, you know, the line's too damn thin. And we've made it thinner and thinner to the point where, look, we're getting a taste of our own medicine. Look how insulted we all are. How do you think people felt
Right?
that we've been doing it too for years? Honestly, it's kind of ironic if you think about it. It's like the ultimate hypocrisy and irony, just slapping everybody in the faces.
Well, that was a few weeks ago. Shady put me in one of her videos, and I was like, and I told my daughter, I said, "Oh, I said I was clipped in somebody's video," and my daughter's like, "Aren't you a clip channel? How does a clip channel get clipped in another?"
Right, it's like
And I was on Queen Bee's channel, so I was clipped. I mean, you know.
right. I get it, dude. I do. But and no nonsense. I agree with that. It is harmful. It needs to be addressed. But if we can't tag Sebastian Rogers and we can't tag Seth Rogers and we can't tag, then how are we reaching the audience that needs to hear it? We can't, right? You can't win. And maybe that's because the standards that we ourselves have put out there. That's what I'm finding ironic, if I'm being honest. I find it a bit ironic because we have set that threshold. We've all participated at one point or another on that threshold, and now we're being held by it, and we're all like, well, what the fuck? We can justify it. But I bet you they could too. That's all. It's just ironic. Oh, I was actually personally insulted by that slight she took. The criticism I agreed with her on. Yeah, she didn't want a conversation. She didn't want a dialogue nonsense. She actually shut down your dialogue and called it excuses. So she didn't want to hear it. And you got to wonder,
Like the intent.
yeah, I don't think the intent was to open a dialogue, unfortunately. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe she'll make a video and tell us what her intent was, and or maybe she stands by how she said it. A lot of people felt it was open ended and she didn't really come to a conclusion, more so than they just didn't find a real purpose for it.
Well, and
And
I'm wondering if it had occurred better if she had invited the people she was going to discuss
right,
rather than criticize and be like, hey, are you open to having this dialect? Invite your viewers. Are you open to doing this?
well, that's why I thought she did, because the way she phrased it with Queen was like, "Oh, I went to Queen in private," so I thought Queen was afforded that, and I'm like, "Well, that's nice." But then we find out that wasn't the case either.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the other thing, right? Nonsense. I didn't immediately want everybody to be all angry at TPE. Those who support me be like, "Oh, she was wrong for adding Granny into it," because no, at one point I did fit that category. I recognized it myself. But then I found out when I went live about the personal slight. So then I was like, well, it's a little more personal. I don't think we do care, AAG. I just think, I'll go back to what I said in the beginning. If you don't go live, especially every day, if you don't host open panels, you don't make the missteps that we make. We open ourselves up for more criticism that I guess maybe they were smart for not doing. People being angry about my Jennifer Soto comparison. Well, I lost my shit. I mean, I'm being doxxed. I'm being called a pedo sympathizer. Casey
Whoa.
Anthony. So I meshed energies is what I consider it. And I recognized afterwards I was wrong and I apologized and I privated it, but I'll be held to that, right? I'll continue to be held to that. But these same people that are calling me out for that, they're not calling out the chest they sit in as they're actively calling me Casey Anthony and a pedo sympathizer. And they're doxing me. That's my problem. Was I worse than that? Did I dox them as I called them Jennifer
Nope.
Sotos? That's when it's personal and it's not about bad behavior, good behavior. It's personal. And now I'm wondering, did TPE fall into that personal hole with me based on those that she is closely associated with, who obviously, even she herself said, I lost. Is that why I lost you? Did it become that personal, or did you're okay with the doxing and the threats and saying I'm a danger to my kids and CPS whistling and all of that, but you're angry at me because I said this waters down actual victims like Madeline Soto? Yeah. Again, I stand by what I said. I just didn't phrase it correctly. So I don't know. I appreciate you guys. I'm sure Queen's headed live, if not already. So we'll go listen and hear her perspective on it. And hopefully it opens a dialogue. I'd like to talk to TP. I think we all would. Maybe we can shoot her an email nonsense and ask if she wants to, do a panel with us and we can all kind of speak about it. And if there is a resolution to be had, or was that did she just write in the sand and, that's her stronghold? I don't know.
Yeah, I think it would be, I think it's good to have a discussion about it. This is a good thing to have a discussion about because, like I said, when we first started calling out tragedy pimps, it was a big thing about the tragedy. And that was the big thing that everybody was calling out, that they were hashtagging the victims. And that was the problem. They were hashtagging because it was Summer Wells at the time. And they're hashtagging Summer Wells all the time in all these videos. But it got lost that of why they were tagging Summer Wells and 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 let and it who is better than who? I mean, everybody's doing YouTube for money, I'm sure. Most people are. Um, except for me, I really ain't, but most people are doing YouTube for money. And why is it wrong that they make money on YouTube? I don't think there's anything wrong with even Betty making money on YouTube. But I think it's wrong how she makes money on YouTube. But if you're going live every day and stuff, yeah, you should be getting super chats. You should be getting donations. You're putting your time in, just like any other job. But it's how you're making the money is what I have a problem with. She's making her money. When she makes the most money, she's out there bashing people. She's out there at their houses. She's out there protesting in front of their house. She's out there slamming these people. She's out there going digging into their real lives and stuff like that. That's the problem. But that got lost somewhere in the whole calling out tragedy pimps. And now everybody thinks, oh my God, if you hashtag a victim, you're wrong. Not necessarily. There is a fine line, but yes, but there is a line. Not everybody's wrong for hashtagging a victim.
And here's the other thing, Cheesy. With utmost respect, I don't even put ads on a lot of my stuff. And if I do, it's after I live stream because, yeah, I am here to make money. That is part of why I monetize. It's part of why we all monetize. I saw people were calling out TPE saying she had ads going. I have premium, so I won't see the ads, so I don't know. But, if money's really the problem, then why did any of us monetize? Why were we offered that? Do we have to turn off monetization now too? You know what I mean? And financial gain is not the only gain. Tagging all those creators. You don't think TPE is going to have some gain from tagging 50 fucking creators? Of course, she's going to get all of their audiences. So she's gaining too. You know what I mean? So what makes your gain better than mine? What makes mine bad and yours good? What is the difference here? I said the same thing when it comes to Dolly, Betty, all of them. We are here to make money. If people want to pay for that content, let them. Who are we to be like, oh, you don't get to monetize that? We're offered that.
Right. Eventually, I have health problems. I have arthritis. Eventually, I'm not going to be able to run my business the way I like to. So maybe someday I might take YouTube seriously and want to make money on YouTube. I'm going to be called out just like everybody else, I'm sure.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, YouTube has been a true blessing to me. As somebody with a felony record, it's very hard to find gainful employment. And I'm also able to be with my children. So I'm very thankful for the opportunity that YouTube has allowed me to make income on here. And I'm very thankful for those of you that are willing to pay on a free platform. It means the world to me. That's why I don't judge others making money. Now, I will judge in the sense of like Betty saying, oh, I need a lawyer fund to now sue the Proudfoots. Yeah, you shouldn't make money off of that. I mean, come on, you walked yourself into this.
Right.
Those type of situations. Or Dolly, help fly me out to this place because it's so necessary I go. And then, he's halfway there and he turns around. Those are wrong. Or having a booth at those type of things are wrong. But just for having ad revenue on, and if that's the case, again, there are way more creators who have hundreds of ads going at a time. So I don't know where the money part came in. I didn't listen to the entire video, and I should before I run my big mouth.
I think the only time I have a problem is when people are clickbaiting.
Yeah, see, I feel like clickbait is part of the game too, man. Unfortunately, it's part of YouTube.
Like,
I've
seen
but
a few videos
where
where they're like, body found.
Oh yeah. Like when Betty had Sebastian in a life float because there was a body found in the water. Yeah, sick.
That's where I really, like, as a parent, I draw the line.
Or when they were clickbaiting about Madeline Soto being pregnant, that was terrible.
Yeah. Or you're profiting off the fact that Seth Rogers is up there pretending to masturbate. Yeah, it's pretty gross. Pretty gross. I mean, hell, I got torn apart because I put my I was actually, I felt like I was forced by the masses to hide my one stream because there were parts of people that thought I was so wrong for it. But I felt like if they had that phone call, they would have done the same thing if they would have even muted. But, you know, I digress. But I've had, you know, I'm driving and people don't believe me, so I don't care. But I couldn't get it to private, but I get it on membership. But so what if I wanted that to be under a membership level? So what?
Yeah.
Like that's, you know, it's not like you know, it's just some things. It's like just like
You
them saying
have to
about
make some membership stuff.
right. Well, and I don't because I'm always accused of doing so. It's just like them saying about Queen putting the Audrey behind a paywall. Well, that is an option that we have. Maybe Queen wanted that for her members only. You know, maybe there's just some things that we want just for members only. We realize it's not great for the public, but those who know us and are members still understand it. So we put it behind a member wall. Why is that so frowned upon? Like my members know my intent, right? So if I put it under a member wall because all of you enjoyed it and you want to revisit it, why am I guilted for that? That now I'm profiting off of something that I didn't even ask for. Thank you, Miss L. You know what I'm saying? It's just, I don't know. I think we're too hard on each other, and that's because again we drew this line in the beginning, and like you said, cheesy. At first, we were kind of all on board. This is wrong, and now it seems like the only way to combat the misinformation is to tag the same tags to get the same audience, and you can't win for that either. So,
yep.
What do you do?
And I understand TPE making the video because a lot of us clip channels and stuff get called hypocrites because, like I said last night, clip channels are really, if you're a true clip channel, you're probably not friends with anybody. You're probably clip channels are supposed to be open-minded to call out anybody, absolutely anybody, not just the bad one, not just what everybody thinks is bad, but you should be calling out everybody if you're going to be a true clip channel.
No, it's very selective.
Heels in the Air is a good example. She, even though she gravitated to people's chats, she would still call out people that she followed.
Yeah.
And thought of as friends. She would still call them out. She was a good example of a pure clip channel because she didn't, no matter what side she was on, she still would call you out.
And not only that, but she wouldn't judge based off what the masses like. Keels was very kind to me when others weren't, and I'll never forget that. You know, she didn't care that those she was closely associated with didn't like me or that there was this heavy judgment on me. She still gave me grace, which is why, you know, I offer grace to the next person. Even when it came to Chloe and the F word, I offered grace. I'd done it myself before. It was stupid. It was ignorant. It was, you know, but then other things came up. And I feel like people, even with that, it was like, oh, they better call it out. They better call it out. And then the same people were saying, well, we never said anybody better call it out. Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did.
Right.
Like, why can't we all just do our own content and call out what we feel is necessary and kind of, you know, go back to coexisting? I hate that there's this divide. I do. There's a lot of people I really avoid and I really miss, and it sucks.
Well, even in the beginning, when Clue first said the F word, even Jeff, who we all love and know in this community, he even said, yeah, it hurt my feelings that she did that, and she should be more aware of, especially because she said her daughter is gay, and she should have a discussion with her daughter about how she feels about that word, blah, blah, blah. And yeah, we all were taken aback by that, but we thought it was just an oops, you know, and we tried to forgive her for that. But then we realized that it was deeper than that. And then it's like, oh, wait a minute, you know.
And it was used in a homophobic tone. It was.
But you know what? Yeah. Here's the thing. So I'm a gay trans man. I will put that out there. No harm, no foul. I don't care what people think of it. When it rolls off of your tongue, when those words roll off of your tongue so easily, that is in your language. Because you will not say that easily if it isn't.
Right.
Yeah. I mean,
like the F word, the T word. Like the T word is directed for people who aren't following, people like me who are trans. The T word, you use that in your life. TRANNY.
Oh, is that insulting?
Okay.
Oh, very.
Okay. Oh, well, yeah, of course it is. I'm sorry. That was so stupid of me.
No,
It took me a
you're
second
okay.
to
You're okay to
sink it
act.
in.
You're okay to act like I'm one of those people that when
Somebody's gonna
people have
clip that and be like,
questions.
"Look how disrespectful." I mean, somebody
No,
accused me of being homophobic during my stream about where I thought I was calling out homophobic remarks. I was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry." But
nope. I've never felt that you were either, neither transphobic or homophobic, because
thank you.
you.
Just not.
I will say that because I've never felt that in your community, and you
Thank
don't put up with it either.
No. Mm-mm.
No.
No, and that's just a false
And
label. People always try to they you know, like how many people tried to distract from what Clue did while supporting Clue, may I add, to call out what I said 3 years ago or, you know, try to label. That's where we get back to watering down, right? We're watering down the word pedo, we're watering down the word trashing
Metal
pimps, we're
block.
watering down narcissists, where homophobia is being watered
yeah.
down, racism watered down. It's so draining.
I
Well,
agree, B.
to piggyback off what you're saying about the trans thing, Mallory, I couldn't stand Mallory. I can't stand her, what she does. Honestly, she's honest about what she's making her money for. She's like, "Hey, give me money. I want it because I'm here to make money." But I didn't like what she did. But when people started making fun of her about being trans, and they started making digs at her, calling her a man and doing that, and calling her
Yeah.
by her dead, what do they call that, the dead
Dead
name,
Dead
name.
excuse my
name.
ignorance.
Dead name.
I'm just learning some of these new things because that's not in my life, so pardon me if I am ignorant.
Right.
But I didn't agree with any of that. What she chooses to do, and I will call her a her because she is legally a her. That is what she chooses to be, and that's
Yep.
her business.
Right.
And what she did, what she was born as, what she's done before that, that is not my business. That is not my business to say, "Hey, you're a man. You were born a man." You know, that's none of
Right.
my business.
Well, and
You
it
know,
didn't tie into
and
her content either. Her personal life should not
right.
tie into what she did as a content
Nope.
creator. It's horrific what
Right,
she
and just
did.
because people didn't like what she was doing, they were just, it would be like somebody, because they didn't like what I was doing, calling me fat, you know? Well, what does
Right.
that
Right.
have to do with my content? You know? It's like,
What does
is
that
my
have to
fat
do with
bothering
the
you so
cost?
much? I mean, so yeah, I mean, I don't agree with any of that, even though I don't like the person, you don't need to go that low.
Yeah, and unfortunately, it's
It
ironic. We
happens.
got a lot of good information out of Smoke coming up here, but unfortunately, it was so derailed by the whole doxing and the drama and all that that the discussion didn't go as far as it could have went. It could have been a really good discussion. We could have gotten really good information, and it was kind of overridden with the whole drama aspect. There's been a lot of drama.
I mean, to a point, there still could be a conversation between other creators who are willing to be civil with each other, even if all of their viewers don't agree with each other.
Yeah, I think there could be. I'm open to it. I know Nonsense says she's open to it. Queen says she's open to it. Now it's just up to those who feel how they feel to be open to it.
I'm sure Jay would be open to it.
Oh yeah, I don't even know why she got thrown in it.
Like,
That was such an insult. I mean, I like Jay. I know Jay hasn't always done great content, or she goes down conspiracy or whatever, and people don't have to agree with it. But I like Jay for Jay. I like who she is. I enjoy her.
yeah,
I like the way we vibe on panels together. It's fine. It's hard to find somebody that isn't seeking anything from you as a creator and just genuinely wants to help. I mean, she's offered to help me behind the scenes to learn how to use a new streaming app, and with no
yeah,
ties attached, and tells
yeah.
me be safe during a storm. I say, I enjoy that. And I don't, again, I can absolutely point out things that I disagree with what TPE has done as well. But to throw that insult, you and Jay deserve each other. Well, I'm going to take it as a compliment.
Yeah.
Oh, Savage is more than welcome. I don't think she was called out during the video though, Vivian. But yeah, I like Savage. I have no problem with Savage.
Yeah.
She's more than welcome to join the discussion. I just don't think she was named as one of the people.
I don't recall her name being brought up, but she'd be a good one too.
And to be fair,
No.
she went at Seth Rogers. So, I guess that's where people are like, was it personal? Like, was it, who we're associated with and not what we've actually done? Or is this generally how she feels? So I don't know. I look forward to speaking with TPE, and hopefully we can have an open dialogue, and it can, this doesn't have
That's
to be
what I
like,
said. That should have been done as an open panel or something. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
not a
Because I don't
premiere.
want this line drawn in the sand of like us versus them. I agreed with her fair criticism. I did. I understand what she was saying.
There's enough room on the internet for everybody.
Yeah. Yeah. Hopefully
Whether
she'll
we agree with them or not, there's enough room on the internet for everybody.
Yeah. Oh, was mentioned Betty Crocker. There we have it. So yeah, I mean, if she wants to join the discussion, she's more than welcome.
I have to say, I love Petty Crocker's name.
Oh, that was that funny.
I love that name.
Oh no, but we can do that too. But some creators can't be brought together. Some of them I didn't even notice existed until I seen them all in the tags or whatever. Sadly, I was seeing sides for far too long. Yeah, I think we all do. We'd be lying if we said we didn't, and I don't know. But I do appreciate you guys spending the morning with me. I think we should wrap it up. So if anybody wants to revisit it, it's not too long. Thank you so much, Cheesy. I know you want to drop down forever ago, and I'm like, wait, please, just stay.
No, that's okay. I don't mind at all. I was just sitting here, so I was just going to hop off. But no, I didn't mind staying. Thanks for having me. I
It was a good
appreciate it.
conversation.
Of course, thank you.
Thank you for having me as well.
Thank you, Ryan. I really appreciate you.
Hi, Jay.
Bye, everybody. Take
I
care.
just saw Jay come
There
in.
she is.
Take
Yeah, I
care,
think
everybody.
you guys as well. Thank you. I think we all offer something different to the table. And if we learn to embrace instead of judge what that difference is, I think it could work out really well for us. You know, I think it could be a great thing. So, all right. If you haven't, please hit the thumbs up. Thank you guys for being here with us. My understanding is Queen is live and not too happy, as according to a commenter. I don't know if it's true or not. Mental Block, thank you so much. And may I just say, Mental Block and Dusty Garbage Gal. Dusty Garbage Gal got me in Betty's chat one day. And you were very fucking mean to me, Dusty. Which is why it was such an honor when she sent me an email and said, Granny, I was so unfair to you. I didn't give you a chance. I listened to other people, but I've been listening to you, and I'm sorry for my harsh judgments. Mental Block used to get my ass all the time. So when it's chatters like you, and you send me these emails, or you come back around and you acknowledge and you help me keep going on the right path, and it means a lot to me. So thank you for giving me a second chance, or a chance at all. It means a lot. Oh yeah, you. All right, I am out of here. You guys have a great day. I'll see you all later, and yeah, be safe out here. #bye.